During this time, the Nine-Tailed clan has been in direct confrontation with the three Peak clans. It seems that Miss Shower has the momentum to annex all three Peak clans and unify the demon realm, Temporal Temple Master said. Unify the demon realm? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. Miss Shower is quite ambitious. Of course, Jian Wushuang only secretly praised her, but he had no intention of intervening. After all, his position now was completely different from before. Just like Taoist Shen God, Temporal Temple Master, Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master, and the Heaven Ancestor, they had already reached an extraordinary position and reached their level. They had long lost interest in the various conflicts of interests in the Divine Beginning realm. What they really cared about was the stability of the overall situation in the Divine Beginning realm. As long as the Divine Beginning realm could develop normally, they would not care even if the internal conflicts between the various forces were chaotic. Temporal Temple Master, take me to see the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master, Jian Wushuang said. Okay. Temporal Temple Master nodded. With a wave of his sleeve, the power of spacetime engulfed Jian Wushuang and disappeared in a flash. The moment Jian Wushuang and Temporal Temple Master returned to the Divine Beginning realm, the power of the divine will of the Divine Beginning realm sensed it at once and informed the three masters of the Saint realm directly. In the Life and Death Divine realm, one of the three Saint realms, the grand and tall hall was covered in a dazzling gold. At the top of the hall there were three thrones standing side by side. Normally, the three masters of the Saint realm sat on these thrones, but at this moment, there were three other people sitting on the thrones. As for the three masters of the Saint realm, they were standing below the great hall with incomparable respect. The three rulers who were sitting on the thrones above were naturally the ones who had rushed over from Devil Cloud Star. These three rulers had been staying in the Sacred Island previously, but now they had already arrived in the Divine Beginning realm. To be honest, I really don't want to come to the Divine Beginning realm. The power of the heavenly Tao will in a grade 3 astral world is too great of a restriction to us. We are simply unable to display our strongest strength here. The tall and big man said. That's right. If we were in our Devil Cloud Star, a grade 2 astral world, we wouldn't be subjected to any restrictions at all. That devilish young man curled his lips and said, all of you should bear with it. After all, this is an order from Lord Starmaster. The last one, that child-faced brown-haired old man, advised. In the vast cosmos, a grade 3 astral world, because it was the lowest grade of astral world, would naturally be able to bear a smaller range of power. This was because the laws of the universe gave a grade 3 world star a great restriction. As long as one's battle prowess was above the ruler realm, they would be greatly suppressed within a grade 3 world star. They would not be able to display their ruler realm battle prowess at all. However, a grade 2 world star, because it was of a higher grade, would be able to endure a greater range of power. The ruler realm power would not have too much of an effect on a grade 2 world star. Hence, within a grade 2 world star, a ruler could freely display his strength. Since the three rulers had come to the Divine Beginning realm, they would naturally be suppressed by the divine will of the Divine Beginning realm. The divine will was dominated by Devil Cloud Star Master, but the universe laws were inscrutable. Even Devil Cloud Star Master could not disobey it. Jian Wushuang has returned to the Divine Beginning realm? The tall man looked down. Yes, not only that, Master also said that Jian Wushuang has broken through to become a Principal's Master. As for his battle strength, I'm afraid he can already rival a ruler. One of the three Saint Realm Masters said. Life and Death Saint Master said. A Principal's Master can rival a ruler? That's a perfect chaotic creature. No wonder Star Master is a little afraid of him. The tall man sighed. Since Jian Wushuang's battle strength can fight against a ruler, and he's only a Principal's Master in the Divine Beginning realm, his strength won't be suppressed. In other words, he can easily defeat any one of us one-on-one in the Divine Beginning realm. Even if the three of us join hands, we might be able to fight him head-on. The evil-looking young man said. It's like this. Even if we have that treasure in our hands, it's impossible for the three of us to kill him in the Divine Beginning realm, said the white-haired old man. If that's the case, then why does Lord Star Master want the three of us to come to the Divine Beginning realm? The tall man asked in a deep voice. If I'm not wrong, Lord Star Master's order should be that he wants the three of us to do our best to protect these three Saint Realms. The white-haired old man looked down at the three Saint Realm Masters below. Protect these three trash? The tall man glanced at the three Saint Realm Masters below, but the corners of his mouth curled up in disdain. He could tell at a glance that these three Saint Realm Masters in front of him were actually only at the pinnacle of the sixth realm. There were too many peak 6th level Principles Masters in the universe battlefield. In their eyes, they were like ants, but because of the power of the will of the heavenly Tao, these three people were able to display the power of a Saint Realm Master who was stronger than a pinnacle of the sixth realm. This tall man naturally did not think much of these three Saint Realm Masters. And the three Saint Realm Masters below also knew their own weight. When they heard the discussion of the three people above, they had already lowered their heads and did not dare to say a word. The elder with white hair smiled. He said, "Although these three are not very strong, they are still servants of Star Master." It was not easy for him to find three experts at the peak of the sixth realm in the divine beginning realm who could receive the heavenly will perfectly. Most importantly, these three Saint Realms exist to maintain the order of the divine beginning realm. If they are destroyed by Jian Wushuang, it will be very troublesome to rebuild them in the future. It would be better if they can be preserved. Humph! The tall man snorted and said in a low voice, "From today on, you three keep a close eye on Jian Wushuang. Report to me immediately if there is any movement." Yes. The three masters of the Saint Realm accepted the order. "All right. Get lost." The tall man waved his hand. The three masters of the Saint Realm immediately left in fear. They no longer looked as high and mighty as before, after the three masters of the Saint Realm left. "By the way, isn't that woman Xing Luo in this territory? Why didn't you find her? She's much stronger than the three of us. If she helps us, we'll be able to deal with Jian Wushuang more easily," the tall man said. "Xing Luo?" The white-haired elder shook his head. "Although she's from the Devil Cloud Star, she's always been very withdrawn. She's been training her disciple all these years. Even when I sent a message to her, she completely ignored it. I'm afraid that she won't bother with us unless the Star Master personally gives the order." That woman? The tall man could only secretly hate her. After returning to the divine beginning realm, Jian Wushuang did not alarm too many people. Instead, he directly headed toward the seal of the 7-star divine realm under the guidance of the Temporal Temple Master. As the Temporal Temple Master teleported again and again, it did not take long for Jian Wushuang to arrive at a hidden special space. This special space was barren and devoid of any life. The only thing that existed was a special formation in the center of this special space. Jian Wushuang and Temporal Temple Master came to the front of the formation. "Is this a space passage?" Jian Wushuang was surprised. "It's a space passage, but it only leads to one place. To open it, you need the power of a ruler. In the divine beginning realm, although I'm suppressed by the will of the heavenly Tao, I'm still a ruler, so I can barely open this space passage," Temporal Temple Master said. "Where does this space passage lead to?" "The 7-star divine realm," Jian Wushuang asked. "You'll know when you get there." Temporal Temple Master smiled and began to open the space passage. With the divine power of Temporal Temple Master, the space passage quickly began to operate. Complicated and mysterious secret patterns rose up, and a surge of supreme power spread out from the space passage. "This space passage seems extraordinary?" Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. "Let's go in," Temporal Temple Master said, and then entered the space passage with Jian Wushuang. There was a flash of light, and when they reappeared, Jian Wushuang found himself on a vast land. The land was boundless, but what surprised Jian Wushuang was that there was no life in the land, and it was full of death. "Where is this?" Jian Wushuang was puzzled. "This is the 4th heaven of the divine beginning realm," Temporal Temple Master said. "The 4th heaven?" Jian Wushuang was stunned and looked at Temporal Temple Master. "Yes, the core of the divine beginning realm is the 3rd heaven. The 3rd heaven is stronger than the 1st, especially the 3rd heaven. The cultivation environment is far better than other places, and it is the absolute core of the divine beginning realm. The strongest overlords of the divine beginning realm, such as the 3 saint realms, the 4 divine clans, and the 8 directions celestial sect, are all in the 3rd heaven. But a long time ago, before the 7-star mysterious sect was destroyed, there was a total of 4 heavens at the core of the divine beginning realm. At that time, the 4th heaven was the core of the divine beginning realm and the place with the most outstanding cultivation environment. In terms of cultivation conditions, the 4th heaven was several times stronger than the 3rd heaven. There was only one force in the 4th heaven, and that was 7-star mysterious sect. At that time, 7-star mysterious sect was the only overlord in the 4th heaven. At the same time, it also represented its supreme power in the divine beginning realm. Such power is far beyond the 3 saint realms now. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang could not help revealing a shocked expression. In the past, the 4th heaven, which had many times better cultivation conditions than the present 3rd heaven, was completely occupied by the 7-star mysterious sect. It was evident how powerful the 7-star mysterious sect was. After a pause, Temporal Temple Master continued, "However, since the battle broke out, the 7-star mysterious sect was destroyed and the entire 7-star divine realm was sealed. Because of the formation of the seal, not only did it absorb the vitality of countless cultivators, but it also absorbed almost all the vitality of the 4th heaven. In addition, the seal has been operating for countless years and still crazily devouring the vitality of the 4th heaven. This led to the complete abandonment of the 4th heaven." Jian Wushuang was shocked. It used to be the core of the divine beginning realm and the saint realm with the best cultivation conditions. But now it had become so lifeless, which made Jian Wushuang sigh in his heart. After the 4th heaven was completely abandoned, the cultivators could hardly sense the existence of the spiritual qi of heaven and earth, so they could not cultivate. Therefore, many cultivators in the 4th heaven left. After all, no one wanted to stay in a place where they could not even sense the spiritual qi. Temporal Temple Master continued to explain. Because of this, the 4th heaven slowly withdrew from the public's view until it was forgotten. Until now, most cultivators in the divine beginning realm only know of the 3rd heaven, but they never knew that there was actually a 4th heaven in the divine beginning realm. However, although the 4th heaven is abandoned, that seal will still be there. The 7-star divine realm is still inside that seal, so others will forget about this place. However, we won't. Moreover, because the spiritual qi here has been completely exhausted, the many spatial passages that originally existed in the 4th heaven have already lost their use. No one can use the spatial passage to come here again. So, I, the mysterious god, the Heaven Slayer, and the Heaven Ancestor joined hands to wipe out the connection between the 4th heaven and the divine beginning realm. This means that in the entire divine beginning realm, only the space passage we took just now can lead to the 4th heaven. It's almost impossible for others to get to the 4th heaven through normal means. Is this the only space passage that can lead to the 4th heaven? Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. It was obvious that the Temporal Temple Master and the others had protected the only passage to the 4th heaven very tightly. The passage could only be activated by the power of a ruler. Naturally, over the years, no one could come to the 4th heaven except for the Temporal Temple Master and the others. That's not right. Jian Wushuang suddenly frowned. If no one can come to the 4th heaven and come into contact with the sealed 7-star divine realm, how did the 3 masters of the saint realm open the seal and come to the 7-star divine realm? In his previous life, the 3 masters of the saint realm had all come to the 7-star divine realm in the last battle. If the 3 masters of the saint realm could not come to the 4th heaven and come into contact with the seal of the 7-star divine realm, they naturally could not come. I just said that it's impossible to come to the 4th heaven through normal channels, but the 3 masters of the saint realm are different. After all, the 3 masters of the saint realm are supported by the power of the will of heaven. They are guided by the will of heaven. Even if they don't use the space passage, they can still find a way to come to the 4th heaven and touch the 7-star divine realm, Temporal Temple Master said. I see. Jian Wushuang understood. After all, the 4th heaven was in the divine beginning realm. As the heavenly will of the divine beginning realm, it was not difficult for the 3 masters of the saint realm to reach the 4th heaven. By the way, Temporal Temple Master, hasn't the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master been guarding around the seal? He should be in the fourth heaven. How come I don't see him? Jian Wushuang asked. Don't worry. I've sent a message to tell him to come here. The Temporal Temple Master smiled. As soon as he finished speaking, Jian Wushuang saw a figure appear at the end of the barren void. The figure took one step after another at an incredible speed. In the blink of an eye, he had appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. The figure was a 2-meter-tall burly man. He wore scarlet armor and his skin was dark. His long and narrow eyes swept across the sky like a pair of gemstones. His gaze was enough to overshadow the sky and earth. Most importantly, he was the burly man's domineering aura. This domineering aura was unparalleled. It was as if the entire universe was under his feet. The man was the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master. Jian Wushuang had summoned the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master's consciousness avatar with bamboo leaves on the Saha Island. Apart from its great strength, the most profound influence of the consciousness avatar was its domineering aura. That domineering aura was really admirable. The domineering aura of the consciousness clone was so strong that even Jian Wushuang could not help feeling apprehensive when he saw the real body of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master. He knew very well that the reason for his domineering aura was not only because of the cultivation technique and secret skill, but also because of his extremely strong strength. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master was the strongest among the masters in Star Palace. He had long reached the advanced ruler realm, so he must be even stronger now. Haha! Heavenly Sword Marquis, you're finally here. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master's domineering laughter echoed in the world. His eyes were burning as he looked at Jian Wushuang. Greetings, Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master. Jian Wushuang bowed slightly. Haha, you're welcome. The Shen God has already sent me a message. He said that your current strength is barely comparable to that of an advanced ruler. Your strength is not much weaker than mine. It's good that I'm bored in this damn place. Now that you're here, come and fight with me first. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master's voice was deep. As soon as he finished speaking, a surge of majestic divine power rose up. Jian Wushuang was stunned. At this moment, Temporal Temple Master smiled. He said, Zhan Tian, you're here to seal the 7-star divine realm, not to fight with you. Moreover, the fourth heaven is in the divine beginning realm. You're also suppressed by the will of the heavenly Tao here, so your strength is probably not much stronger than mine. However, you're only a principal's master, so your strength is not restricted at all. If you fight with him here, aren't you just asking for trouble? Yes, yes. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master nodded repeatedly. I almost told him about this. He is like Xianxia, a perfect life form. A principal's master can have the battle power of a ruler, and his strength will not be restricted in the astral world. Fighting with him here is indeed too disadvantageous for me. Heavenly Sword Marquis, when we get to the universe battlefield, we'll have a good fight. Of course. Jian Wushuang nodded with a smile. After a simple conversation, he could see that although the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master was extremely powerful and domineering, he was a carefree person who did not care about his identity. Jian Wushuang was very willing to make friends with such a person. All right, Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master, take us to the place where the seal is, Temporal Temple Master said. Okay, follow me. Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master immediately led the way, while Jian Wushuang and Temporal Temple Master immediately followed. The three of them flew quickly and crossed an extremely long distance. However, they still used more than half of spacetime to reach the core area of the fourth heaven. Where there was a huge circular formation, it covered a long and distant territory. Is this the location of the seal? Jian Wushuang looked at the formation in front of him with a trace of shock. The formation was so big that it blotted out the sky and the sun. Even with his strength, he could not sense the existence of the edge of the formation. At the same time, Jian Wushuang could sense that the formation was running at an extremely slow speed. While it was running, the formation was constantly devouring and squeezing the life force of the fourth heaven. The life force of the fourth heaven has almost been completely devoured and squeezed out, but the formation is still devouring? Jian Wushuang frowned. There's no other way. After all, the seal can only be maintained if the formation is in a constant state of operation. As for the energy needed to operate the formation, that's the reason why Xianxia has been staying here for so long. The temporal temple master said seriously. Although there isn't much life force left in the fourth heaven, and it is difficult to supply the formation with energy, there is still some left. What Xianxia needs to do here is to keep an eye on the life force of the fourth heaven and not let it be completely cut off. After all, once the life force of the fourth heaven is completely cut off, the fourth heaven will directly collapse. However, as long as it still has a trace of life force, as long as it doesn't collapse, it will have a certain amount of recovery ability. At that time, Xianxia will replace the fourth heaven and supply a large amount of energy to the formation. The energy depends on the natural treasures. Over the years, Star Palace, Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, Temporal Temple Master, and the Heaven Ancestor Taoist sect have paid an uncountable price to supply the operation of the formation. Jian Wushuang was secretly amazed. He also knew how much energy was needed to maintain such a huge magic array. It was obvious that it could not be maintained by devouring the vitality of the fourth heaven. Naturally, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master and the others had put in a lot of effort to maintain this magic array until now. Before, there was no other way. This magic array had to keep running. Once it stopped, the seal would exist forever, and it would never be broken. The seven-star divine realm in the seal, as well as the countless experts left behind by the seven-star mysterious sect, would never have the chance to see the light of day again. But now that you're here, everything is easy to handle, Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master said with a faint smile. Back then, when Mystic One used this seal, she said that as long as you reached the level of a Principal's Masters, you would be able to open this seal and let the seven-star divine realm see the light of day again. Now go and try it. Jian Wushuang did not delay any longer and directly rushed toward the seal formation. How do I break this seal formation? Looking at the vast seal formation in front of him, Jian Wushuang felt a headache. Although his master had said that as long as he broke through to Principal's Master, he would be able to break this seal formation, but he did not know the process and steps of breaking it. We don't know the exact process. You can try to communicate with the seal first, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master said. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded and closed his eyes immediately. His consciousness had already covered the huge seal formation in front of him. When his consciousness covered the seal formation, Jian Wushuang immediately connected with the seal formation. At the same time, the remnant soul that had been in the seal gradually woke up. Little guy, you're finally here, a gentle voice sounded. Hearing this voice, Jian Wushuang's body trembled. He was too familiar with this voice. Master, Master? Is that you? Jian Wushuang's voice trembled. It's me. The gentle voice sounded again. At the same time, a hazy figure slowly formed in the seal formation. He was tall and straight, and his face was gentle, giving people an extremely intimate feeling. The faint smile on his face made people's hearts feel warm. The familiar face, the familiar smile, and the familiar feeling. It was obvious that the figure who appeared in the seal formation was his master, Xianxia. However, his master had already died, and what appeared here was only a wisp of remnant soul left in the seal formation. This wisp of remnant soul was still very weak and had been sleeping for a long time. It was only when it sensed Jian Wushuang's aura that the remnant soul was awakened. Only Jian Wushuang could sense the awakened remnant soul. As for the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master and the others, they could not sense his existence. Little guy, how long has it been since you reincarnated? Xianxia asked. His remnant soul had been sleeping, but he did not know how long it had been sleeping. Master, it has been 100,000 years, Jian Wushuang replied respectfully. 100,000 years. It's a little later than expected, but it doesn't matter. You were able to break through to become a Principal's Master and wake up my remnant soul before coming to the seal formation in the fourth heaven. This means that my original plan should have gone smoothly, Xianxia said. Yes, I ran into some trouble along the way, and I was hunted down by the three saint realms more than once. Fortunately, I wasn't lucky enough to escape, Jian Wushuang said. Since you're here, it means that you've come into direct contact with the Shen God, right? Xianxia continued to ask. Not only Senior Shen God, but also the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master, Temporal Temple Master, and the Heaven Ancestor. I've come into contact with them, and thanks to the help of these 4 seniors, I've been able to get to where I am today, Jian Wushuang said. Have they told you about your mission and the ultimate secrets of the world? Xianxia asked. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. In that case, you should know what you should do. Xianxia smiled slightly and then said, Last question. How is your strength now? Master, I just broke through to Principal's Master not long ago, but because I have gotten some good opportunities over the years, I can barely match an advanced ruler in strength. With the help of Senior Shen God, I got a supreme true treasure magic weapon. Now, my battle strength is definitely not lower than an advanced ruler. If I really fight with my life, I won't be afraid even if I meet some terrifying existences among the advanced rulers. The only difference is that there are some restrictions on the use of the heaven-cleaving skill, Jian Wushuang said. Previously, Jian Wushuang had more or less concealed his strength. Even when Taoist Shen God, Temporal Temple Master, and Divine Ancestor had asked, Jian Wushuang had only been able to fight against a ruler. However, he had not told them the exact level of his battle strength. However, he was now facing his most respected and grateful master, Xianxia. He did not conceal his strength at all and was able to tell them all of his trump cards and strength. This was his absolute trust and trust in his master. That's right. You've just broken through and are already able to fight against a high-level ruler. This is something that I would have to fight for in the past. Xianxia laughed. As for the heaven-severing art, this secret art is very unique. Back then, I was able to create it because I encountered an incredible opportunity. In addition, my luck was also very good. However, this secret art consumes a lot of divine power. Fortunately, our perfect life force is rich in divine power. If it was someone else, even a ruler would not be able to use this secret art so many times. As long as you use this secret skill properly, it will improve your strength. As for whether you want to use this secret skill in the future, it's up to you. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Well, I've asked you so many questions. In fact, I just want to know your situation these years. Now it seems that it's not bad. Xianxia smiled. He continued, You are here to break the seal formation? Yes, Master. But how can I break the seal formation? Jian Wushuang asked. Break the formation? Xianxia's expression changed, but then he smiled and said, It is not difficult for you to break the formation, but it is not easy to say it is easy. Huh? Jian Wushuang was puzzled. Little guy, I'll tell you the truth. The reason why the seal formation has always existed is not only to protect the sleeping experts in the 7-star divine realm and give the 7-star mysterious sect a chance to rise again, but also for a more important purpose, Xianxia said. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was even more confused. Little guy, Shen God, and the others must have told you that I tried to possess the power of the divine beginning realms after I broke through to the Principal's Master realm. Unfortunately, I tried countless times and failed, Xianxia said. Senior Shen God told me about this. He said that you tried millions of times and failed. In the end, you concluded that to possess the power of the divine beginning realms again, you have to break through to the ruler realm with your perfect life, Jian Wushuang said. Yes, but it's not just that. Xianxia's expression became serious. When I broke through to become a Principal's Master, I tried to take over the divine beginning realm again. In the end, I tried millions of times. Although I failed, I could feel that I had the chance to take over the divine beginning realm again. It was just that I wasn't strong enough. Therefore, I thought that as long as I broke through to become a ruler, I would be able to take over the divine beginning realm again. But soon, as my strength improved and my vision became more and more profound, I understood that it was not as simple as breaking through to become a ruler to take over the divine beginning realm again, Xianxia said. It's not just about becoming a ruler? Jian Wushuang frowned. It was already extremely difficult to become a ruler. Jian Wushuang was still a long way from becoming a ruler. However, He did not expect that he would need more than that to take over the divine beginning realm. If I just break through to the ruler realm, even though my power will greatly increase and most importantly, my soul will also undergo a metamorphosis, which will be of great help when I take over the divine beginning realm. The current divine beginning realm is not at its weakest stage. It has already evolved to the middle stage. Moreover, the divine beginning realm was seized once before. Now, the power of the heavenly Tao will of the divine beginning realm is dominated by that Devil Cloud Star Master. The heavenly Tao will, which is dominated by Devil Cloud Star Master, is completely different from the heavenly Tao will of an ordinary astral world. The heavenly Tao will of an ordinary astral world has no emotions and no thoughts. It only knows how to operate according to the laws of the universe. Even if it is suddenly possessed, its ability to resist is limited. However, Devil Cloud Star Master is a human cultivator. Moreover, he is an extremely terrifying ruler-level great being. If he is possessed, he will definitely resist with all his might. If it is at the last moment, he might even do some crazy actions. For example, he might directly self-destruct, causing the heavenly Tao will of the divine beginning realm to completely collapse. Without the restriction of the heavenly Tao will, the divine beginning realm would similarly collapse without the operation of the principles. Or, he could directly control the will of the heavenly Tao to destroy the divine beginning realm. These are all consequences that we cannot accept. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang's expression became extremely grave. Indeed, Devil Cloud Star Master was not a cultivator in the divine beginning realm at all. He possessed the divine beginning realm only for his own cultivation and to help him increase his strength. As for the divine beginning realm itself, he did not care. Under normal circumstances, he would not destroy the will of the heavenly axiom or control the will of the heavenly axiom to destroy the divine beginning realm. At most, he would forcefully speed up the evolution of the divine beginning realm, let him gain more in a short time. However, when the time came when Jian Wushuang could pose a great threat to it and could take over the divine beginning realm again, and he could not stop it, he could not be sure, he was not sure if he would do something crazy. After all, if he could not stop Jian Wushuang and let him take over the divine beginning realm again, then the divine beginning realm would have nothing to do with him. Since he could not get it himself, he might not let others get it either. That's why I was worried. I was worried that even if you broke through to become a ruler, you would not be able to take back the divine beginning realm. That's why I specially left the seal formation to completely seal the 7-star divine realm inside. Xianxia said, Master, is there anything special about the seal formation? Jian Wushuang asked, puzzled. Of course there is. Xianxia smiled. This seal formation is a great opportunity that I obtained in the past. This function is very strange. Not only does it completely seal the 7-star divine realm inside, but most importantly, the seal formation will gradually evolve over a long period of time. Evolve? Jian Wushuang was stunned. The original sealing formation will gradually evolve into a complete world, and it will even gradually give birth to the power of the will that can dominate this world, Xianxia said mysteriously. What? Jian Wushuang was shocked. A complete world? It can even give birth to the power of the will that dominates this world. Isn't that the same as an ordinary astral world? Yes, when the sealing formation is activated to the end, it is equivalent to forming a small astral world. Xianxia smiled. This small astral world also has its own operating rules. The power of the will that dominates this world is equivalent to the power of the will of the heavenly Tao in the divine beginning realm. To put it bluntly, it is an astral world, but it is much smaller than an ordinary third-level astral world. However, the basic operating rules, including the power of the will of the heavenly Tao, are still there. Of course, in many aspects, this small astral world cannot be compared to the astral world that is naturally born from the universal magic array. For example, in the growth space, an ordinary level 3 astral world can give birth to countless immortal saints and a large number of principles masters, including a few experts at the ruler realm. However, after the evolution of the sealing magic array, this small astral world cannot even give birth to an immortal saint. You should know this very well. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. He had walked out of the seal formation and knew very well what the limit of a cultivator's growth was in the world inside the seal formation. In the seal formation, aside from the experts left behind by the 7-star divine realm and the 7-star mysterious sect, the strongest experts born in the world seemed to be at the chaos realm. In the ordinary astral world, the chaos realm was no different from an ant. Although there is no room for growth in this small astral world and no experts can be expected to be born in it, there is one thing. It has a normal cycle of heavenly Tao, which is not much different from that of the ordinary astral world. If you can master this small astral world and fully understand its heavenly Tao operating principles, it will be of great help to you when you take over the divine beginning realm in the future, Xianxia said. Jian Wushuang understood. If what his master said was true, this small astral world would not be too different from the divine beginning realm's heavenly Tao operation rules. Then he would be able to master the small astral world. It was equivalent to completely understanding the process of the divine beginning realm's heavenly Tao operation rules. In the future, when he started to possess again, the process of possession would definitely be much easier. I've said before that the divine beginning realm's heavenly Tao will is now controlled by Devil Cloud Star. He knows how to resist and how to risk his life. He might even make crazy moves. But if you've already broken through to the ruler realm and have a complete understanding of the divine beginning realm's heavenly Tao operating principles, then you can easily take possession of the divine beginning realm again. You won't give him any chance to counterattack, Xianxia said seriously. I see. Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. Mastering this small astral world will not only make it easier for you to take over the divine beginning realm in the future, but it also has a complete cycle of heavenly Tao. As long as you master it, it will be of great benefit to your cultivation. At the very least, it will be of great help to you in breaking through to the ruler realm, Xianxia added. Jian Wushuang's heart skipped a beat. Yes, Devil Cloud Star Master was originally just an ordinary ruler who could not even make it on the planet. However, it was because he had taken over the divine beginning realm by chance that his strength had greatly improved. He had become the overlord of Devil Cloud Star. It could be said that Devil Cloud Star Master had gained a lot of benefits after taking over the divine beginning realm. The benefits he could gain from mastering the miniature astral world derived from the sealing formation were far from that of possessing a normal astral world. However, there were still some benefits. Jian Wushuang was only a principal's master and was far from being a ruler. If he could master such a miniature astral world at this time, he would definitely gain a lot of benefits. But master, how can I master this small astral world? Jian Wushuang asked. There's only one way for you to master this small astral world, and that is to completely refine it, Xianxia said. Refine it? Jian Wushuang was stunned. Refine it like refining a supreme treasure? But how can I do that? Jian Wushuang knew himself well. Although it was only a small astral world, it was once a 7-star divine realm. Its territory was also extremely vast, and it had formed a complete cycle of heavenly Tao. How could such a small astral world be refined so easily? How could it be refined so easily? Don't worry. Although this small astral world is extremely difficult to refine, it was created by me. When I created it again, I had left some methods behind. As long as it is a perfect life form at the level of a principal's master, it can be refined. Of course, the refining process will not be easy, Xianxia said with a smile. Master, what should I do? Jian Wushuang asked respectfully. You can leave here now and find an ownerless secret realm. You can try to refine it first, Xianxia said. Secret realm? Jian Wushuang was stunned. All principal's masters will create their own secret realm. However, there are 2 ways to do it. One is to spend a long time and energy to create a complete world based on the circular shape of the heaven and earth and many treasures. This way, you can really create a secret realm with your own strength. This secret realm is the most complete and most helpful to the strength of principal's masters. Under normal circumstances, when a principal's master uses his own methods to open up a complete heaven and earth secret realm, this principal's master will have an additional willpower. The second method of opening up can be said to be a shortcut. It doesn't require too much time and energy. It's just to directly find a heaven and earth secret realm that has no owner or is already broken and no one cares about it. refine this heaven and earth secret realm again and turn it into your own. However, because I didn't create the heaven and earth secret realm in this way from the very beginning, even if I refined it in the end, I would still get a portion of the power of the will. However, this principle's master is unable to fully display the power of the will. Most of the time, I can only display 80 to 90% of the power of the will. Because of this, in the divine beginning realm, only a small number of principles masters who find it troublesome or have no ambition would find a helpless secret realm to refine it. Most principles masters would choose to test their ability to open a secret realm, but for you, there is no need to spend so much time and energy to open a secret realm. Xianxia said. Why? Jian Wushuang asked. Did they not say that only by opening the heaven and earth secret realm could he exert the strongest power of the will? It's simple. First, you have to open the heaven and earth secret realm by yourself. It takes too much time and energy. You are the only hope of the divine beginning realm. The Devil Cloud Star Master knows about your existence and may come here at any time. Therefore, you have to make every second count and try to improve your strength as fast as possible. It's unnecessary to spend so much time and energy just to gain a little power of the will. Most importantly, with the small astral world that I prepared for you, you don't need to open the heaven and earth secret realm. Even if you do open it, will the power of your will be better than the power of your will given by the small astral world? Xianxia sneered. Master, you mean, you want me to refine this small astral world into my heaven and earth secret realm? Jian Wushuang widened his eyes. Yes, the heaven and earth secret realm is a world, and this small astral world is also a world. Why not refine this small astral world into your heaven and earth secret realm? Xianxia said with a smile. But this is a bit too exaggerated, Jian Wushuang said in surprise. Exaggerated. In his opinion, this was indeed too exaggerated. Previously, when Xianxia asked him to refine this small astral world, he thought it was incredible. However, Xianxia actually wanted him to refine this small astral world as if it was a heaven and earth secret realm. The heaven and earth secret realm was his own heaven and earth. The strength of the heaven and earth secret realm could determine how much willpower he could obtain and how much strength he could increase. If he really refined such a huge small astral world into his heaven and earth secret realm, how much willpower would he get? How strong would he be able to increase his strength? Just thinking about it made Jian Wushuang feel that it was incredible. Could such an incredible thing really be realized? Little guy, I deliberately arranged this seal formation to transform it into a small astral world so that you could refine it into a secret realm. This is my last surprise for you. As for the refining process, don't doubt it. As long as you do as I say, I'm sure you can refine this small astral world into your secret realm, Xianxia said with a smile. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and suppressed the excitement in his heart. He bowed respectfully and said, Master, please teach me. I've already taught you again. First, find an ownerless secret realm to refine. After refining it and accumulating experience, you can directly destroy the secret realm. Under normal circumstances, when the heaven and earth secret realm is destroyed, the power of the will given to it will completely collapse. This is certainly an unprecedented heavy blow for an ordinary principles master. But for you, a perfect life, it's nothing more than the loss of some divine power. However, you have gained the experience of refining the heaven and earth secret realm. Next, you will come here and refine this small astral world. It will be twice the result with half the effort, Xianxia said. I see. In that case, I'll come here after refining a heaven and earth secret realm, Jian Wushuang said. Go! Xianxia waved his hand. Jian Wushuang bowed respectfully and returned to his original body. Jian Wushuang opened his eyes again outside the huge seal formation. My young friend, how is it? Can you break the seal formation? Temporal Temple Master looked over immediately. Yes, I can. But there are still some steps to be taken. Jian Wushuang told them about how he saw Xianxi's remnant soul in the seal and their conversation. After hearing this, both Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master and Temporal Temple Master were shocked. No wonder Xianxia told us to find a way to keep the seal working before he died. I see. The purpose of the seal formation is not only to protect the experts left behind by the 7-star mysterious sect, but also to allow you to better possess the divine beginning realm. Temporal Temple Master sighed quietly. Heavenly Sword Marquis, you're looking for an ownerless secret realm to refine, right? Heaven-cleaving Alliance Master looked over. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. It's easy, although it's difficult to find an ownerless secret realm under normal circumstances. Since you need it, we can find a Principal's Master who has opened the secret realm and kill him. Then we can forcibly take his secret realm. The Heaven-cleaving Alliance Master said. No need. Jian Wushuang waved his hand. I happen to know where there is an ownerless secret realm that is suitable for me to refine. I once promised the owner of the secret realm that I would do something for him. Although I have done all these things, I haven't returned to give him an answer. It's a good time for me to go there. Jian Wushuang was talking about the Shui Bei secret realm. Back then, he had obtained a great opportunity in the Shui Bei secret realm. He had indeed promised Shui Bei to help him go to the bloodline of the blood ancestor in the Heaven Ancestor Taoist sect to accomplish some things. He had already done that. At that time, Shui Bei had told him to go back there and refine the Shui Bei secret realm. After he became a Principal's Master, he could go back there and refine the Shui Bei secret realm. Now that Jian Wushuang had become a Principal's Master and his strength was comparable to a ruler, the Shui Bei secret realm was no longer attractive to him. However, now that he needed to refine a secret realm to accumulate experience, the Shui Bei secret realm became his first choice. He could also go back and give an answer to the Shui Bei secret realm. The Shui Bei secret realm is in the Endless Territory. Since I'm going to the Endless Territory, I might as well go to the third heaven and pick up my parents. Jian Wushuang thought. His parents, Zhuo Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin, originally came from the Endless Territory. They were forced to come to the third heaven because of him. It had been more than 100,000 years. Zhuo Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin definitely wanted to go back to the Endless Territory and visit their hometown. My young friend, since you already have a heaven and earth secret realm that you can refine, you can go. With your current strength, you can do whatever you want in the divine beginning realm. There's no need for us to remind you anymore, Temporal Temple Master said with a smile. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Soon, he left the fourth heaven and headed toward the third heaven. In the divine beginning realm, Jian Wushuang's every move was watched by the will of heaven. When Jian Wushuang arrived at the third heaven, the will of heaven immediately informed the three masters of the Saint Realm about it. The three masters of the Saint Realm immediately looked as if they were facing a great enemy. My lords, Heavenly Sword Marquis has already arrived at the third heaven. It is very likely that he has come directly to the three Saint Realms. The three masters of the Saint Realm stood there respectfully, their faces full of anxiety. What are you three worried about? The three masters who were sitting high above looked down with cold eyes. Even if Heavenly Sword Marquis power isn't restricted in the divine beginning realm, he's only one person. His battle strength is at most comparable to an ordinary primary ruler. With his battle strength, even if the three of us are restricted, as long as we work together, we can still suppress him. You're right. If Heavenly Sword Marquis is alone, there's no need to worry at all. If he comes and the three of us work together, he definitely won't be able to gain any advantage. If he's a bit careless and I find an opportunity to use that divine weapon, I might even be able to kill him. The white-haired elder smiled. You can leave now. Just keep an eye on Heavenly Sword Marquis. There's no need to make a fuss. The evil-looking young man waved his hand. The three masters of the Saint Realm were still worried, but they had no choice but to leave. The three masters of the Saint Realm were worried that Jian Wushuang's purpose in coming to the third heaven was to attack the three Saint Realms. However, they did not know that Jian Wushuang had no intention of attacking the three Saint Realms directly. After arriving at the third heaven, he headed straight for the demon realm. The Floating Fire City was one of the 8 cities in the demon realm that could be called the Pure Land. When Jian Wushuang first came to the demon realm, his parents in this life, as well as his eldest sister and second brother, all lived in the Floating Fire City. However, when he came to the Floating Fire City again, he did not find any trace of his parents. They are not in the Floating Fire City? Jian Wushuang was not surprised. He had heard from Temporal Temple Master that one of the biggest changes in the divine beginning realm over the years was the rise of the nine-tailed clan in the demon realm. The rise of the nine-tailed clan was unstoppable, forcing the other three peak clans to join forces. They could only fight together. The 8 cities in the demon realm were still pure land on the surface, but in the dark, the nine-tailed clan and the other 3 peak clans were in charge. Now that the nine-tailed clan was fighting with the 3 peak clans, it was no longer safe for his parents to stay in the floating fire city. Therefore, if nothing went wrong, his parents, his elder sister, and his second brother should be in the nine-tailed clan and protected by them. Let's go to the nine-tailed clan. Jian Wushuang immediately flew toward the nine-tailed clan. The nine-tailed clan was once one of the 4 great god clans, and it was not considered very powerful among the 4 great god clans. But now, the nine-tailed clan was publicly recognized as the #1 clan in the demon area, and its strength was so strong. It was already far above any other peak clan. Even if the other 3 peak clans joined forces, they could only barely contend with the current nine-tailed clan. The vast tribal land was covered by a huge array. This array was the nine-tailed clan's guardian array, the 5 elements array. Although this array was broken by Marquis Duanyu in the battle back then, it was only temporarily broken. After the battle ended, the nine-tailed clan would be able to restart this array. Under the rule of Miss Shower, the nine-tailed clan became stronger and stronger. They used more treasures and resources in the formation, making it stronger than before. Now, the formation was like an iron wall. Even a master of the Saint Realm would not be able to shake it. However, this formation was not a threat to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang's figure flashed and he arrived at the edge of the light membrane. He casually raised his finger and pointed at the light membrane in front of him. A faint divine power spread out. In an instant, a passage appeared in the light membrane that allowed people to enter and exit normally. But the magic array itself did not change or move at all. Until Jian Wushuang entered the nine-tailed clan through the passage, there was no movement. The experts of the nine-tailed clan did not notice anything. After entering the ancestral land of the nine-tailed clan, Jian Wushuang directly spread out his soul power. Immediately, the entire nine-tailed clan was exposed in front of him. As expected, father and mother are indeed in the nine-tailed clan. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. He had sensed the aura of his parents. They were now in a manor in the north of the ancestral land of the nine-tailed clan. There were not only many guards in the manor, they were also completely protected by magic arrays. It was clear that Miss Shower had done a good job in protecting his parents. After nearly 100,000 years, the nine-tailed clan is indeed much stronger than before. There are more than 100 principals masters in the clan land alone. There are 7 principals masters in the 6 realms of the void. 2 of them have reached the pinnacle of the 6th realm, and 1 of them has reached the pinnacle of the 6th realm. Jian Wushuang felt the more powerful auras in the nine-tailed clan, but he was quite surprised. He knew that Miss Shower had mastered the 9-life charming heaven skill, and her charming skills were so powerful that she could control people without making a sound. With such skills, he could easily control a large number of experts. It was normal for him to control some experts of the 6 realms. Even if she controlled 2 experts of the pinnacle of the 6th realm, Jian Wushuang could understand it. But what Jian Wushuang did not expect was that there was another expert of the pinnacle of the 6th realm in the nine-tailed clan. Although the pinnacle of the 6th realm was nothing to Jian Wushuang now, it was definitely the pinnacle of existence in the divine beginning realm, second only to the rulers and the 3 masters of the Saint Realm. He remembered that 100,000 years ago, he had asked Elder Darkbone and learned that there was only one other expert at the pinnacle of the 6th realm in the divine beginning realm, except for Elder Darkbone himself and the recently broken through Demon Master Qinhua. There was only one other expert at the pinnacle of the 6th realm in the entire divine beginning realm. Could it be that the other expert at the pinnacle of the 6th realm was the one in the nine-tailed clan? No wonder the nine-tailed clan is recognized as the #1 clan in the demon realm. Even the other 3 peak clans could barely fight against it. It turns out that the strength of the nine-tailed clan has reached such a level. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. He did not care about this. But at this moment, Jian Wushuang's expression changed and he frowned slightly. He was still standing in the void above the nine-tailed clan. No one could detect his presence. He looked at the manor where his parents lived. Outside the manor, several figures stopped a woman who was about to enter the manor. Princess Ing, why are you in such a hurry to go back without even greeting me? Among those people, the leader was an evil-looking young man in a white robe. This evil-looking young man had a wicked smile on his face as he stared at the beautiful woman in front of him. While he was talking, his hand even patted the woman's shoulder symbolically. The beautiful woman was startled. She immediately took a few steps back and said coldly, "Young Master Sha, I already have a husband. Please have some self-respect." Haha. So what if I have a husband? There were many cultivators in the divine beginning realm who had lived for a long time. After such a long time, it was normal for them to have dozens or even hundreds of husbands. So what? Princess Ing, in my opinion, why don't you give up that useless husband of yours and follow me from now on? The evil smile on the white-robed wicked young man's face became more prominent. He moved closer to the beautiful woman and extended his hand toward her. Stop! A fierce shout suddenly sounded, and a figure hurriedly walked out of the manor. Jian Wushuang, who was standing in the void above, smiled when he saw the person who walked out. The person who walked out was his second brother, Shuapeng. As for the beautiful woman, of course, it was his wife, Princess Ing of the Blood Marten clan. Young Master Sha, what are you doing? Shuapeng came to Princess Ying's side, and after comforting Princess Ing, he turned his ashen face toward the white-robed man, who was also young Master Sha. What do you mean, what am I doing? Did I do anything? The expression on that young Master Sha's face had also changed, becoming somewhat sinister and cold. Humph, it's best that you didn't do anything. Otherwise, you should be clear of the orders given by the nine-tailed clan master. The people of our Clearwater Villa are different from those ordinary members of the nine-tailed clan. You'd better show some respect, Shuapeng said with a cold snort. After he finished speaking, Shuapeng no longer paid attention to this young Master Sha. He brought Princess Ing and directly returned to the manor. When he saw Shuapeng and Princess Ing enter the manor, that young Master Sha's expression completely darkened. Young Master, this subordinate doesn't understand. This Shuapeng is merely an ant at the level of a saint. As for that Princess Ing, although she is a princess of the Blood Marten clan, the Blood Marten clan is nothing in front of you. Why don't you just use force? A servant beside young Master Sha could not help but ask. This servant was very clear about young Master Sha's identity and the power in his hands. A mere Blood Marten clan, this young Master Sha would not put them in his eyes at all. But in reality, this young Master Sha had been bumping into a wall all these years, and had no way of getting that Princess Ing. When he heard the servant's words, this young Master Sha shouted in a low voice, "Idiot! What do you know? If I could use force, this young master would have used force long ago. Do I need you to say that?" However, this Clearwater Villa is indeed very different from the members of the Nine-Tailed Clan. When Father and I came to the Nine-Tailed Clan, the Nine-Tailed Clan Master had already said on the spot that no matter who I wanted to obtain in the entire Nine-Tailed Clan, it would not be a problem. However, I cannot touch this Clearwater Villa. You must know that his words were said in front of my father. In front of Master? The servant was shocked. The Nine-Tailed Clan Master has been asking for help from Father all these years. She is usually very polite to Father. However, she said these words unyieldingly that time. It is obvious that the Clearwater Villa has a high position in her heart. I have investigated the Clearwater Villa over the years, and know that the reason why it is special is because the third son of the Clearwater Villa is the Heavenly Sword Marquis, who shocked the entire divine beginning realm. Heavenly Sword Marquis, young Master Sha said. Heavenly Sword Marquis. The servant was shocked. Heavenly Sword Marquis. In the divine beginning realm, as long as one was an undying saint or a principal's master, there was no one who did not know his name. He was the number one monster in the history of the divine beginning realm. At the level of a saint, he dared to face the three great saint realm masters head-on. Although it had been almost 100,000 years, Heavenly Sword Marquis had disappeared without a trace. However, the stories and legends about him had been circulating in the divine beginning realm. The talent and potential of this heavenly sword marquis are indeed incredible. Moreover, his background is extraordinary. Even my father didn't dare to underestimate him. He also told me not to provoke the people of the Clearwater Villa. However, I've been staying in the Nine-Tailed clan all these years. Although the clansmen of the Nine-Tailed clan are all charming and charming, I've long been tired of playing with them. And this Princess Ing of the Blood Martin clan is indeed very attractive. So, young Master Sha did not finish his words, but his servants already understood what he meant. They had been following young Master Sha all this time, and they knew very well what kind of character this young Master Sha was. He was a master who relied on his father to act in a lawless manner. Ever since they had followed young Master Sha, as long as it was a woman that young Master Sha looked like, there was almost nothing that could not be obtained. Even if the other party had some background and some power, as long as young Master Sha wanted it, he could easily get it. That was because those backgrounds were nothing in front of young Master Sha's father. No matter what kind of enemies he provoked, his father could easily deal with them. Only this time, he was tired of playing with the Nine-Tailed clan's clansmen. Then, he took a fancy to Princess Ing. However, Princess Ing was a member of the Clearwater Villa. To that third brother of the Clearwater Villa, the legendary genius of the divine beginning realm, although his father was not afraid, he did not want to provoke her easily. Therefore, he had been eyeing this Princess Ing for many years. However, he didn't dare to use force. At most, he just wanted to find an opportunity to harass her. Young master, since this Princess Ing has the backing of Heavenly Sword Marquis, do you want to give up on her? The servant next to him asked in a low voice. Give up? Young Master Sha snickered. There has never been a woman that I haven't been able to get. It's the same for Princess Ing. So what if she has the backing of the Heavenly Sword Marquis? That Heavenly Sword Marquis has already disappeared without a trace for nearly 100,000 years. Who knows if he's dead or alive now? Moreover, I'm not stupid. I won't really force my way into the Clearwater Villa to snatch her. I can wait for an opportunity. As far as I know, this Princess Ing will be accompanied by Zhuopeng every once in a while. She will stay with a few guards and return to the Blood Martin clan. Although the Nine-Tailed clan and the Blood Martin clan are allies, they are two different tribes after all. There isn't a direct spatial passageway. She will still have to return to the Nine-Tailed clan on her own, and we can definitely make our move on the way. Kill their guards. Kill Zhuopeng. Don't give them any chance to send a message or call for help. As for Princess Ing, suppress her first. When I'm tired of playing with her, I'll just kill her. There are many dangers in the demon territory, and there are countless ways to kill them. As long as our hands and feet are clean, who can guess that we did it? As for Heavenly Sword Marquis, even if he does come back one day, he won't be able to find us. Young Master is wise. The servants immediately began to compliment young Master Sha upon hearing his words. Young Master Sha's face was also filled with a proud smile. However, they did not know that their conversation had been heard by Jian Wushuang, who was in the void above them, and that Jian Wushuang's expression had become extremely cold. Whoosh! Without any warning, Jian Wushuang had already dived down. Outside the Clearwater Villa, Master Sha still looked at the manor with some reluctance. He waved his hand and said, Let's go back and find a few clansmen of the Nine-Tailed clan to play with. Master Sha turned around, and so did his servants. But when they turned around, they were shocked to find that a figure had appeared in front of them. This human figure had arrived too suddenly. One had to know that although this young Master Sha was only a peak-level undying saint, his father had personally arranged for those ordinary people. They were all principal's masters, and the one who had just talked to this young Master Sha was also a peak 4th level principal's master. This kind of strength was already an extremely tyrannical existence in the divine beginning realm. However, even the principal's master, who had reached the 4th realm, did not realize when this figure had arrived behind them. Who are you? Master Sha frowned and looked at the person in front of him. You just said that you would kill Princess Ing and Zhuopeng on her way back to the Blood Martin clan? Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold as he stared at Master Sha. So what if I did? Master Sha said coldly. He did not expect that his conversation with his servant would be heard by the person in front of him. Nothing. I just want to tell you that you died because of what you just said. Jian Wushuang's eyes were emotionless. As soon as he finished speaking, he slowly raised his right index finger. He pointed at Master Sha. No! Seeing Jian Wushuang's sudden attack, the faces of the servants of Master Sha changed greatly. These ordinary people were arranged by Sha's father to stay by Sha's side in order to protect safety. Now that they saw someone actually make a move on Sha's son, even though they did not know who the person in front of them was, they did not hesitate to rush forward to stop Jian Wushuang. However, just as they moved, a trace of divine power swept out from Jian Wushuang's body and covered them at the same time. There were 4 servants beside Master Sha, all of whom were principal's masters. However, when the trace of divine power covered them, the 4 principal's masters looked terrified and all 4 of them stopped in their tracks. 3 of them watched as their divine bodies began to collapse. They could not stop the collapse at all, and their divine power was also rapidly disappearing. In an instant, the divine bodies of the 3 principal's masters completely collapsed, and the 3 figures also completely disappeared from this world. The only one who survived was the principal's master who had reached the 4th realm of the void. Although he was not dead, he could not move at all. He could only look at the disappearance of his 3 servants in horror. At the same time, Jian Wushuang pointed his right index finger at young Master Sha. There was no change on the surface of young Master Sha's face, but the divine power in his body had been wiped out in an instant. His breath had been completely cut off, leaving only a cold corpse. He was still standing there with his eyes wide open. From the beginning to the end, neither the 3 servants nor the young master had the time to scream, but all 4 of them died. Do you know why you are not like them? Jian Wushuang withdrew his palm and looked at the servant who had reached the 4th void realm indifferently. The servant was already scared silly. Hearing Jian Wushuang's words, he looked at Jian Wushuang with a dull expression. You didn't die because I want you to bring the corpse of your master to your master and tell him why he died. The person who killed him is called Heavenly Sword Marquis. Jian Wushuang's voice was very calm, but it sounded like thunder in the servant's ears. Heavenly Sword Marquis? He is Heavenly Sword Marquis. The servant was shocked. Heavenly Sword Marquis was very famous in the divine beginning realm. Even though he had disappeared for nearly 100,000 years, all kinds of legends about him were still circulating in the divine beginning realm. Just now, he had talked about Heavenly Sword Marquis with Master Sha. He knew that even the person behind them did not want to provoke Heavenly Sword Marquis. Now, the person who killed Master Sha, Heavenly Sword Marquis. You can leave now. Jian Wushuang waved his hand. The servant did not dare to stay any longer. He immediately picked up Master Sha's body and rushed to the void nearby. Jian Wushuang glanced in the direction where the servant left, but a cold smile appeared on his face. Master Sha's father should be at the pinnacle of the 6th realm, the pinnacle of the 6th realm of the 9-tailed clan, haha. I hope he can make a smart choice. To him, Master Sha was obviously targeting his family. He even planned to kill Princess Ying on her way back to the Blood Marten clan. After all, Princess Ying was his sister-in-law and Zhuopeng was his second brother. Since he wanted to kill his family, he would kill them without hesitation, no matter who they were or what their status was. Moreover, he could do whatever he wanted in the divine beginning realm. He did not even care about the 3 saint realms. As for the father behind Master Sha, Jian Wushuang did not care about him at all. If he doesn't know what's good for him, then it's not my fault. Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with a sharp light, and then he walked into the Clearwater Villa. The array of the Clearwater Villa was nothing to Jian Wushuang. He clearly came to the Clearwater Villa and soon arrived outside the hall. Before entering the hall, Jian Wushuang heard the conversations of his relatives in the hall. Inger, don't worry. As long as the Clearwater Villa is still standing, Master Sha won't dare to hurt you. Zhuopeng comforted Princess Ying in his arms. The 9-tailed clan master has long given the order that no one is allowed to act impudently in the Clearwater Villa. Although that young Master Sha has an extremely impressive father, but when faced with the 9-tailed clan master's explicit orders, He would not dare to overstep his boundaries. However, this young Master Sha's status is clearly there. All these years, he has been acting wantonly within the Nine-Tailed clan, and no one has been able to control him. Now that he has set his sights on Ying-er and sister-in-law, that will definitely be a big problem for us. Zhuobing said, "Father, why don't we talk to the Nine-Tailed clan master again?" Zhuopeng could not help asking. "No." Shui Yunfeng, who was sitting at the top, waved his hand and said, "After all, although Master Sha has overstepped his bounds, he hasn't really done anything excessive. The Nine-Tailed clan is now the #1 clan in the demon realm, and the other 3 great divine clans have been working together to fight against the Nine-Tailed clan. The Nine-Tailed clan master has been very busy in recent years. At this time, we can't trouble her for a small matter. Otherwise, we might arouse the resentment of the Nine-Tailed clan master." Zhui Yunfeng knew very well that his family was only temporarily attached to the Nine-Tailed clan. The Nine-Tailed clan master took good care of them because of Jian Wushuang. Moreover, the Nine-Tailed clan master had done enough for them over the years. If they took the initiative to trouble the clan master for a trivial matter, it would inevitably cause dissatisfaction. "We can't let that bastard continue to pestering her," Zhuopeng said in a deep voice, but he had just finished speaking. "Don't worry. From now on, you don't have to worry about Master Sha anymore." A voice suddenly echoed in the hall. As soon as the voice fell, a familiar figure suddenly appeared in the center of the hall. Jian Wushuang immediately revealed a smile as soon as he appeared. "Father, mother, eldest sister, second brother, I'm back." Zhui Yunfeng and the others were stunned at first, but then they were pleasantly surprised. "Shuang-er." Zhui Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin immediately stood up. "Third brother." Zhuobing and Zhuopeng immediately came up to Jian Wushuang, their faces full of surprise and joy. "Shuang-er, you're finally back." The first person to come to Jian Wushuang was Luo Xinqin. As a mother, she was most worried about Jian Wushuang. Although Zhui Yunfeng, Zhuobing, and Zhuopeng were worried about Jian Wushuang's absence for so many years, they all knew Jian Wushuang's strength and ability, and they believed that he would definitely come back. However, they were delayed by some things. Only Luo Xinqin was worried about Jian Wushuang. Even though she knew that her son was very strong, she still worried about him day and night. Until now, when she saw Jian Wushuang in front of her, she was finally relieved. "Mother, I'm sorry to have made you worry all these years," Jian Wushuang said apologetically. He also knew that he had taken too long to travel outside. The most important thing was that he had been trapped in that special space for nearly 100,000 years. Even if he came out, he would not be able to tell his family members that he was safe in the universe void. It would naturally cause them to worry. "Anyway, it's good that you came back," Zhui Yunfeng said with a smile. "Yes, third brother, you actually spent nearly 100,000 years on this adventure. At first, we were a little worried, but now, as long as you return safely, there won't be any problems," Zhuobing said with a smile. "Right, third brother, when you just entered the door, you said that you don't have to worry about that young Master Sha anymore. What's going on?" Zhuopeng asked. "It's simple. When I came in, I saw him pestering sister-in-law. I also heard that after you entered the Clearwater Villa, Master Sha discussed with his servants that when sister-in-law and you returned to the Blood Martin clan, he would kill you on the way. So I came out and killed Master Sha," Jian Wushuang said casually. Hearing his words, Zhuopeng and the others were shocked. "Third brother, what did you say? Did you kill Master Sha?" Zhuopeng looked at Jian Wushuang in horror. "Yes, I did." Jian Wushuang smiled. "Not only him, but 3 of his servants are dead. As for his body, I asked his remaining servant to take it back. Third brother, although Master Sha wanted to kill us on the way back to the Blood Martin clan with Ying-er, he shouldn't be killed." Zhuopeng frowned. "Yes, third brother. Although Master Sha is not a person, he has a very good father. His father is even respected by the current Nine-Tailed clan master," Zhuobing added. "Shuang-er." Zhui Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin also looked at Jian Wushuang worriedly. Jian Wushuang smiled. "Second brother, eldest sister, you don't have to worry. Although I haven't met Master Sha's father, I have already sensed his existence when I came to the nine-tailed clan. Since I dare to kill Master Sha directly, I can naturally deal with his father. Deal with his father? Zhuopeng looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. Although his strength was still at the Saint Realm, he was very special in the nine-tailed clan because he came from the Clearwater Villa. He had a lot of contacts with the clansmen of the nine-tailed clan. Naturally, he had heard of Master Sha's father's ability. As far as he knew, Master Sha's father was said to be the strongest principles master in the Divine Beginning Realm. In the Divine Beginning Realm, only the 3 Saint Realm Masters and the legendary ruler experts were qualified to be above his father. Such a super strong his third brother can easily deal with? Third brother? You really have confidence? Zhuobing also looked over. Don't worry. If Master Sha's father doesn't come, it's fine. But if he does, it's the same as losing himself. Jian Wushuang smiled with absolute confidence. At the same time, there was also disdain for Master Sha's father. Indeed, he did not care about a mere principles master at the pinnacle of the 6th realm. Now, only an expert at the level of a ruler and not an ordinary primary ruler was worthy of him treating him seriously. Who was Master Sha's father? Jian Wushuang was talking with his family members. But at this moment, get out of the Clearwater Villa! An angry roar suddenly exploded in the area. The roar contained a terrifying shock wave. It was extremely powerful and immediately shattered the array around the Clearwater Villa. At the same time, there was a powerful pressure. It immediately pressed down on the people in the Clearwater Villa. Under this pressure, the guards in the Clearwater Villa knelt on the ground in fear, all of them shivering. As for the people in the hall, because of Jian Wushuang's existence, they easily resisted the pressure, so they did not feel uncomfortable. But after hearing this roar, Zhui Yunfeng and the others' expressions changed. It's Master Sha Si, Master Sha's father, Zhuopeng said in a low voice. Master Sha Si? Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. Master Sha Si really came to us. It's true. My previous achievements and fame might scare ordinary principles masters, but Master Sha Si is a principles master at the pinnacle of the 6th realm. He won't be scared by my previous achievements. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. He looked around at the people around him and said, Since Demon Master Sha Si has come to us, let's go out and meet him. After saying that, Jian Wushuang walked toward the villa with Zhui Yunfeng and the others. In the deepest part of the Nine-Tailed Clan, the current Grandmaster of the Nine-Tailed Clan, Miss Shower, was discussing something with some senior elders of the Nine-Tailed Clan. There were many experts in the Nine-Tailed Clan now, but most of them were controlled by Miss Shower using the Nine-Fate Charm Heaven technique. They would definitely obey Miss Shower's orders. But these elders of the Nine-Tailed Clan Shower would not be able to control all of them. But at this moment, everyone from the Clearwater Villa, get out here for this old man! The Demon Master Sha Si's furious roar did not only resound throughout the entire Clearwater Villa, it also resounded throughout the entire Nine-Tailed Clan. Shower, the numerous elders of the Nine-Tailed Clan who were discussing this matter, as well as countless members of the Nine-Tailed Clan. Almost all of them heard this furious roar. Clearwater Villa? Shower's expression suddenly changed. This voice and this furious aura. It's the Demon Master Sha Si. Damn it! Shower no longer cared about the matters in front of her and immediately set off toward the Clearwater Villa as fast as she could. Because of that furious roar, the Clearwater Villa had become the focal point of the Nine-Tailed Clan. A large number of Nine-Tailed Clan masters who had heard that furious roar had rushed over. When these clansmen saw the Demon Master Sha Si standing in the void outside the Clearwater Villa, his robes fluttering, and his murderous aura like a rainbow, as well as the ice-cold corpse supported by a principles master beside him, they were all greatly shocked. They all recognized that corpse. It was surprisingly Demon Master Sha Si's son, young Master Sha. Demon Master Sha Si was a supreme expert who had reached the pinnacle of principles masters. Moreover, this existence had been invited by their clan master at a great price. His goal was naturally to deal with the 3 great celestial races that had already joined forces. After all, it was the 3 great celestial races that had joined forces, and their strength was not weak. And although the Nine-Tailed Clan's strength had soared over the years because of Miss Shower, Their overall strength was not much stronger than the three great celestial races joining forces. Therefore, if the nine-tailed clan wanted to crush the three great celestial races with an overwhelming force and even unify the entire demon realm, they would have to have even stronger combat strength joining forces. An expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm could play a decisive role in the battle between the two camps in the demon realm. Therefore, one could imagine how important this demon master Xianxia was to the nine-tailed clan. Not to mention how much Miss Shower had paid in order to invite the demon master Xianxia to the nine-tailed clan. Just the fact that Miss Shower had silently allowed the demon master Xianxia's son, young Master Xia, to act wantonly in the nine-tailed clan all these years. One could see just how much Miss Shower valued demon master Xianxia. It was also because of this that the nine-tailed clan usually held demon master Xianxia in great reverence. They also kept a respectful distance from his son, young Master Xia, and did not dare to provoke him. But now, that young Master Xia was actually dead? It was no wonder that demon master Xianxia was so shocked and furious. Heavenly Sword Marquis, get out here. Just as everyone was discussing, demon master Xianxia let out another cold and stern shout. Heavenly Sword Marquis? Upon hearing this name, many members of the nine-tailed clan were shocked again. Not far away in the void, Miss Shower, who was rushing over, as well as the elders and high-level experts of the nine-tailed clan, were also shocked. Heavenly Sword Marquis name for the nine-tailed clan of these clansmen, but will not be unfamiliar. Demon Master Xianxia, you really dare to come? Jian Wushuang's cold laughter echoed in the air. He slowly walked out of the Clearwater Villa and followed behind him, and Zhuo Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin in the Clearwater Villa. At the sight of Jian Wushuang, demon master Xiaxia's eyes seemed to burst with anger. Heavenly Sword Marquis, how dare you kill my son? Not only are you going to die today, but everyone in the Clearwater Villa will die without a burial place. These people in the Clearwater Villa should be your family. Later, I will torture them to death in front of you, Demon Master Xianxia said coldly. You want to kill me and my family? Jian Wushuang smirked and said, you have to be able to do that. I'll show you. Don't think that you can do whatever you want in the divine beginning realm just because you have some minor achievements. Demon Master Xiaxia's killing intent surged. A large amount of divine power spread out like a tide. In an instant, a terrifying pressure filled the world. Demon Master Xianxia, stop! Before Demon Master Xianxia made his move, many higher-ups of the Nine-Tailed Clan had already arrived. Shower, the current patriarch of the Nine-Tailed Clan, and the elders of the Nine-Tailed Clan had also arrived in the void outside the Clearwater Villa. When Miss Shower arrived, she took a look at the corpse around Demon Master Xianxia, as well as Jian Wushuang, who was standing outside the Clearwater Villa, her pupils constricted. She could roughly guess what had happened. Clan Master of the Nine-Tailed Clan? Are you going to stop me? Demon Master Xianxia glanced at Shower coldly. Although Shower was the clan master of the Nine-Tailed Clan and the Nine-Tailed Clan was at their peak. As an expert of the ultimate six realms, Demon Master Xianxia did not take Shower and the Nine-Tailed Clan seriously. Demon Master Xianxia, I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding, Shower said. A misunderstanding? Demon Master Xianxia sneered. Heavenly Sword Marquis killed my son and asked his guards to bring his body back for me to see. Is this a misunderstanding? Well, Shower's face darkened slightly. Then she looked at Jian Wushuang and asked, Heavenly Sword Marquis, when did you return to the clan? Just now, Jian Wushuang replied. Did you kill Master Xia? Shower asked again. If you're talking about the corpse next to Demon Master Xianxia, I did kill him, Jian Wushuang admitted frankly. Hearing Jian Wushuang's answer, Shower's face became even more unsightly. Nine-Tailed Clan Master, you heard it too. Heavenly Sword Marquis killed my son and is still so arrogant. He doesn't respect me at all. No matter who comes out today, I won't give him face, and he will die today. Demon Master Xiaxia's voice was cold. As soon as he finished his words, a sharp electric arc suddenly flashed in his eyes. Whoosh! Without any warning, Demon Master Xianxia appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. At the same time, a cold spear stabbed toward Jian Wushuang's divine body at lightning speed. It was too fast. Demon Master Xianxia was indeed an expert of the 6 realms in a fierce battle. His attack speed was too slow. The surrounding experts of the Nine-Tailed clan, including Miss Shower, did not react at all. Miss Shower wanted to stop him, but it was obviously too late. Moreover, the spear thrust by Demon Master Xianxia was too fast and too powerful. It was the full-strength attack of an expert of the pinnacle of the 6th realm, and it had already locked onto Jian Wushuang. It was clear that he did not intend to give Jian Wushuang any chance. Seeing the spear thrust out like lightning, many of the Nine-Tailed clan patriarchs around were terrified. The power of the spear alone was enough to frighten many principals masters. One could imagine how powerful the spear was. The spear was aimed at Jian Wushuang. Shuang third brother, be careful. Zhuo Yunfeng and the others behind Jian Wushuang were shocked. Although Jian Wushuang had said that they did not need to care about Demon Master Xianxia, now that they saw Demon Master Xianxia attack personally, feeling the terrifying power contained in the spear, they still began to worry about Jian Wushuang. However, in the face of this extremely terrifying spear, Jian Wushuang only smiled faintly. He raised his right hand and slowly extended 2 fingers. Clang! A sound akin to the collision of metals rang out. That shocking divine might formed a terrifying shockwave that swept out in all directions. The many Nine-Tailed clansmen standing in the surrounding void were all blown away by the shockwave. Even those who were relatively far away could not open their eyes from the shockwave. It was not until a moment later, when the shockwave dissipated, they looked up again and looked at the void in front of them. Everyone's eyes were wide open. Jian Wushuang was still standing casually in the void. He had one hand behind his back and the index finger of his other hand was blocking the tip of Demon Master Xianxia's spear. The power contained in Demon Master Xianxia's spear could easily kill any Principal's Master below the 6th realm. Even a Principal's Master of the 6th realm of the void would have to use all his strength to block the spear. At the very least, he would be severely injured. However, Jian Wushuang only used one finger to block Demon Master Xianxia's spear, but he did not move at all. What kind of strength was this? How is this possible? Demon Master Xianxia was also in a daze. He knew very well that he had used all his strength to block the spear. With his battle strength at the pinnacle of the 6th realm, even the 3 supreme Saint Realm Masters of the Divine Beginning Realm would not dare to underestimate him. He had to use some means to block it. However, he had stopped his spear with just one finger. Even the 3 Masters of the Saint Realm did not have such strength. The battle strength of a ruler? Demon Master Xianxia could not help but think about it. At the thought of it, a huge wave rose in his heart. He had heard of Jian Wushuang before and had heard of some of his battle achievements. Although those achievements were quite shocking, the real strength that Jian Wushuang displayed in those battle achievements was actually not enough to make him an expert at the pinnacle of the 6th realm, fear. Not to mention fear, he did not even have to take it to heart. The reason why he did not want to provoke Jian Wushuang before was mainly because of Jian Wushuang's potential. Jian Wushuang's talent and potential were so strong that no one knew how strong he would be in the future. That was why he did not want to provoke Jian Wushuang. However, talent and potential did not mean that Jian Wushuang's current strength was strong. At least, when he met Jian Wushuang today, Demon Master Xianxia did not think that Jian Wushuang's battle strength would be stronger than his. After all, Jian Wushuang had disappeared in the Divine Beginning Realm less than 100,000 years ago. In a short period of 100,000 years, it was actually only a short period of time for the Principal's Master. He had thought that Jian Wushuang's strength might have improved in the past 100,000 years, but he did not expect that Jian Wushuang's strength had improved to such an incredible level. The strength of a finger followed by a spear thrust with all his strength was at the level of a ruler. After thinking this through, Demon Master Xianxia made a decision in his heart. Run! Without any hesitation, Demon Master Xianxia turned around and began to flee the moment he knew Jian Wushuang's battle strength. As for his son's revenge, he had no intention of avenging it now. What a joke. His son could be reborn without him, but he only had one life. Demon Master Xianxia had worked hard to get to where he was today, so he naturally cherished his life. Seeing Demon Master Xianxia turn around and flee, The clan masters of the nine-tailed clan who were watching the battle were stunned. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. Demon Master Xianxia, didn't you just say that you wanted to kill me and torture my predecessors to death? You haven't even achieved your goal yet. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Jian Wushuang's words were full of mockery. He watched Demon Master Xianxia run away, but he had no intention of chasing after him. It was not until Demon Master Xianxia had fled to the end of the void and was about to escape from his sight that Jian Wushuang slowly stretched out his finger. Freeze! As soon as he said that, a large amount of the power of space-time principles, along with the mighty divine power, directly covered the entire nine-tailed clan. In an instant, the space-time of the nine-tailed clan was completely frozen. Demon Master Xianxia, who had fled to the end of the void, was also frozen in space-time and could not move at all. Heaven-designated skill. It had been a long time since Jian Wushuang had used the first move of the space-time divine skill. After all, he was only a saint, so his divine power was not very strong. In addition, he did not use the space-time rules very well. Most importantly, most of the opponents he met along the way were existences whose realms were far higher than his. This also meant that even if he used the heaven-designated technique at full strength, it would be very difficult to affect his opponents. But now it was different. The divine power he had now was definitely at the ruler realm. Even if his usage of space-time principles was not too high, just by relying on this tyrannical divine power and using the heaven-designated technique, there was basically no principles masters he could withstand it. Once the heaven-designated skill was used, even an expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm like Demon Master Xianxia would immediately be stuck in space-time stagnation. Then Jian Wushuang's figure flashed and he left the place. When he reappeared, Demon Master Xianxia was completely under his control, and the divine power in his body, more than 90% of his divine power had been restrained by him. He was in the weakest state and even fell into a deep sleep. Miss Shower, I know that Demon Master Xianxia is very important to you. However, he is an expert in the ultimate six realms, so your 9-life charm can't control him completely. So, I'll help you push him into the weakest state and deep sleep. If you can't control him now, you can't blame me. With a faint smile, Jian Wushuang casually waved his hand and through Demon Master Xianxia, who was extremely weak and had lost the ability to fight back, to shower. Jian Wushuang was right. Demon Master Xianxia was very important to her. She had to rely on his strength to suppress the 3 celestial races. However, Demon Master Xianxia was too strong for her to control. She could only ask him for help with some advantageous conditions or benefits. She even turned a blind eye when Master Xia was lawless in the nine-tailed clan. However, she was afraid that she could not really control her strength, which was like a ticking time bomb. Now, Jian Wushuang's action was definitely a great help to her. Without any hesitation, Shower directly used the 9 lives succubus heaven technique and began to control the Demon Master Xianxia. If the Demon Master Xianxia was at his peak, even if he was heavily injured, Shower would not be able to directly use the succubus technique to control him. But now, the Demon Master Xianxia was weak and fell into a deep sleep. At this juncture, he was completely unable to resist. In just a short moment, Shower had already controlled the Demon Master Xianxia. After controlling the Demon Master Xianxia, Shower's heart was filled with an uncontrollable joy. One had to know that this was a genuine expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm. Now that he had become her slave, it meant that she could control this combat power as she wished in the future. Although Demon Master Xianxia had fallen into a deep sleep, with the help of some natural treasures, it would not be difficult for her to wake up and regain her peak strength. Taking a deep breath, Shower finally walked toward Jian Wushuang. When she came in front of Jian Wushuang and looked at him, Shower felt a little complicated. When she first met Jian Wushuang in the Endless Territory, he was just an ant in her eyes. It was only because she saw that he had several secret skills from the 7-star mysterious sect that she was willing to befriend or even ally with him. Seeing that he was closely related to the 7-star mysterious sect, she was willing to befriend or even ally with him. Later, when they met again, Jian Wushuang was already very famous in the divine beginning realm. He was accompanied by a powerful devil master, Deep Fire, and experts from Star Palace. Unexpectedly, Jian Wushuang was also respected, It was because of Jian Wushuang's help that she was able to regain control of the Nine-Tailed Clan. Until now, she had led the Nine-Tailed Clan to become the #1 clan in the demon realm. Now it was the third time she had met Jian Wushuang. However, this time, Jian Wushuang's monstrous strength made her look up to him. The demon master Xianxia, who was at the pinnacle of the 6th realm, was like an infant in Jian Wushuang's hands. He had no ability to struggle or resist. After 3 meetings, Jian Wushuang's growth speed was really terrifying. Heavenly Sword Marquis, if I'm not wrong, you should have reached the level of a ruler by now, right? Xiao asked. The surrounding Nine-Tailed clansmen also looked at Jian Wushuang. They also had questions in their hearts. Was Heavenly Sword Marquis already a ruler? Most of them thought that he had already achieved it. After all, the terrifying battle strength that Jian Wushuang had just displayed should only be achieved by an expert at the ruler realm. However, some people thought that although Jian Wushuang was far stronger than the principal's master, he should not have reached the ruler realm yet. Jian Wushuang just smiled and said, "You can treat me as an ordinary ruler." Xiao immediately understood. She knew that although Jian Wushuang was not a real ruler, he definitely had the battle strength of a ruler. "I didn't expect you to reach this level in less than 100,000 years. Xiao could not help sighing. "Miss Xiao, thank you for taking care of my parents and others all these years," Jian Wushuang said. Through the conversation with Zhui Yunfeng and the others, Jian Wushuang knew that Miss Xiao had treated them well during his time in the universe battlefield. She had opened a Clearwater villa for them in the Nine-Tailed Clan. She had also told them that the status of the people in the Clearwater villa in the Nine-Tailed Clan was equal to that of the consecrators of the Nine-Tailed Clan. Therefore, Zhui Yunfeng and the others had been living very comfortably in this place for nearly 100,000 years. At least no one dared to cause trouble for them, and the Nine-Tailed Clan would usually give them whatever they wanted. Even Master Sha did not dare to overstep his boundaries these years because of Xiao's strict orders and restrictions. It could be said that Miss Xiao did her best to take care of them, and Jian Wushuang was satisfied with her care. "Heavenly Sword Marquis, do you mean that you're going to take your family away with you?" Xiao asked. "Yes." Jian Wushuang nodded. "I came back to take them back to the Endless Territory and their own place." As soon as Jian Wushuang finished his words, Zhui Yunfeng and the others who were standing behind him immediately became excited. "Shuang did you just say that we are going back to the Witch Desert region?" Zhui Yunfeng came forward. "Yes, father." Jian Wushuang nodded with a smile. "Previously, because I provoked strong enemies in the Divine Beginning realm, I was worried that they would harm you. That's why I asked Miss Xiao to take care of you. But now, although those strong enemies are still there, with my current strength, I don't need to care about them anymore. It won't be long before I kill all of them. Naturally, you can also return to the Witch Desert region." Jian Wushuang knew that among his close relatives, Zhuo Bing and Zhuo Peng were fine, but Zhui Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin had been staying in the Witch Desert region and had long regarded it as their root. They had been under the protection of Xiao all these years. Although they had been living a comfortable life, they still wanted to return to their hometown. However, they also knew that Jian Wushuang must have had an ulterior motive for leaving them in Xiao's care. Therefore, they did not ask Xiao to send them back until now. Hearing that they could return to their hometown, they were naturally excited and happy. "Father, mother, go and prepare. We will leave tomorrow," Jian Wushuang said. "Okay." Zhui Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin agreed happily. Soon, the people of the Clearwater Villa went back to prepare, and the Nine-Tailed clansmen began to leave. "Heavenly Sword Marquis, do you have time to talk about it?" Xiao asked. "Yes." Jian Wushuang nodded. "Follow me." Xiao led Jian Wushuang to a secret chamber of the Nine-Tailed clan. Except for Xiao and Jian Wushuang, there was no one else in the secret chamber. Even the high-level elders of the Nine-Tailed clan were not present. "Heavenly Sword Marquis, you said that it would not take long for you to kill your strong enemies. And your strong enemies are—" Xiao looked at Jian Wushuang. "The 3 Saint Realms," Jian Wushuang said directly. "I knew it." Xiao took a deep breath. She knew about Jian Wushuang's background, so she knew that his enemies were the 3 Saint Realms. However, She did not expect that Jian Wushuang was ready to attack the three Saint Realms. The three Saint Realms are deeply rooted in the divine beginning realm, and the three masters of the Saint Realm have the power of the will of heaven. It's not easy to uproot them, Xiaoer said. The three masters of the Saint Realm are nothing, but it's true that the three Saint Realms are so deeply rooted that it's difficult to uproot them, Jian Wushuang said. The three masters of the Saint Realm were only slightly stronger than the masters of rules, even with the power of the will of heaven. However, they were still far inferior to the real rulers. With Jian Wushuang's current battle strength, it was easy for him to defeat or even kill the three masters of the Saint Realm. However, there were three rulers in the Devil Cloud Star who had already arrived in this territory. It was very likely that they had also arrived in the divine beginning realm. If the three rulers joined hands with the three masters of the Saint Realm, it would cause him some trouble. However, it was only a little trouble. After all, the divine beginning realm was only a third-grade world star. The rules did not allow the ruler's battle strength to exist. Any ruler who came to the divine beginning realm would have their strength greatly restricted. Even those three rulers were subordinates of Devil Cloud Star Master. The power of the divine beginning realm's heavenly Tao will would still suppress them. Even if Devil Cloud Star Master was unwilling to suppress them, the universe principles in the dark made him have no choice but to suppress them. Since the three masters' battle strength would be greatly suppressed, they would not be able to fight against him. Miss Xiaoer, when I attack the three Saint Realms, I hope you can lead the entire demon realm and help me destroy the three Saint Realms, Jian Wushuang said. It's not a problem for me to help you with all my strength. Now that I can fully control the battle strength of Demon Master Xianxia, who is at the pinnacle of the sixth realm, it's not difficult for me to unify the entire demon realm. However, the three Saint Realms have dominated the divine beginning realm for so long. It's impossible for us to destroy all the powers of the three Saint Realms with the power of the demon realm alone, Xiaoer said. The demon realm alone is not enough, but what about the three freedom alliances? Jian Wushuang asked. The three freedom alliances? Xiaoer was stunned. Miss Xiaoer, I'm telling you the truth. The three freedom alliances and I are on the same side. As long as I attack the three Saint Realms, the three freedom alliances will help me at all costs. Not only the three freedom alliances, but also the many experts left behind by the seven-star mysterious sect. They will also help me, Jian Wushuang said. Hearing this, Xiaoer's body trembled and she quickly looked at Jian Wushuang. Heavenly Sword Marquis, are you saying that on the day you attack the three Saint Realms, the experts left behind by the seven-star mysterious sect will see the light of day again? Then, that person will also appear. Xiaoer's voice was obviously anxious and nervous. Jian Wushuang naturally knew who the person Xiaoer was talking about was. He smiled. Miss Xiaoer, don't worry. There are many experts left behind by the seven-star mysterious sect, and the person you mentioned will naturally be among them. Miss Xiaoer, you can naturally meet him then. Jian Wushuang had learned from Xiaoer that she had a special relationship with Di Shisan, the leader of the seven-star mysterious sect. The person that Xiaoer had been dreaming about all these years was Di Shisan. Di Shisan was in the seal formation. Only Jian Wushuang could refine the seal formation into his own heaven and earth secret realm. By then, he could certainly let the people inside come to the divine beginning realm. It was easy to arrange a meeting between Di Shisan and Miss Xiaoer. In that case, I'll speed up and suppress the three divine races. Before you attack the three divine realms, I'll unite the power of the entire demon realm and help you destroy the three divine realms, Xiaoer said solemnly. Okay, but I have a favor to ask, Jian Wushuang suddenly said. Please go ahead. Xiaoer was very polite. The ancient race, one of the three celestial races, has something to do with me. I've received some favors from the ancient race, so I hope you can show mercy to the ancient race when you unify the demon realm, Jian Wushuang said. The ancient clan, one of the four great divine clans, Jian Wushuang had a good relationship with the ancient clan. Of course, this was because in his previous life in the seven-star divine realm, he had the bloodline of the ancient clan, and he had once received the legacy left behind by an expert of the ancient clan. He had also cultivated the most powerful body-refining secret skill of the ancient clan. It could be said that in his previous life, His growth was definitely related to the ancient clan. Even though he did not have any contact with the ancient clan in this life, the ancient clan still held a bit of status in his heart. Jian Wushuang knew that if Shower wanted to unify the entire demon realm, she would have to deal with the three divine races. If she just defeated the three divine races head-on and made them submit to her, that would be fine. But if it was more serious, Shower could destroy the three divine races at any time. That was why Jian Wushuang would plead for mercy for the ancient race now. As far as I know, you don't have any interactions with the ancient race. How could you ask me to show mercy to them? Shower looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. There was some history, but no one knew about it, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Well, since you're pleading for mercy, I'll show mercy to the ancient race. At least I won't kill them. At the very least, I won't let their race be destroyed. If they are sensible and willing to submit to us, the ancient race will still be the top race in the demon realm, Shower said. Thank you very much. Jian Wushuang smiled and cupped his hands. After the discussion with Shower, Jian Wushuang returned to the Clearwater Villa. Everyone in the Clearwater Villa was ready. Then, under Jian Wushuang's lead, a group of people rushed toward the Endless Territory. 10 days later, in the Pill Sun Sacred World, one of the 9 realms of Golden Crow in the Endless Territory. In the vast void, there were dozens of human figures, both male and female, flying rapidly through the void. Along the way, they passed by some cities and even some sects. When the cultivators in those cities or sects raised their heads and saw these human figures, they were all so scared that their faces turned pale. It must be known that this was the Endless Territories, and it was in an ordinary sacred world. In an ordinary sacred world, the most powerful cultivators were only at the level of immortal saints, and they were even immortal saints who had the lowest strength. But now, any of the dozens of human figures that passed through the void gave off an aura that was enough to shock many cultivators along the way. It was very obvious that these dozens of human figures were all experts above the immortal saint level. In the Pill Sun Sacred World, in the 9 realms of Golden Crow, and even in the entire Endless Territories, the immortal saints were all top-notch experts. With so many immortal saints gathered together, it was naturally terrifying. And these dozens of figures were naturally Jian Wushuang and the others. There were dozens of people because in the 100,000 years since Jian Wushuang left, the Zhua family had produced many generations. Except for some direct descendants who were not too far away from Jian Wushuang, the other descendants did not live in the Nine-Tailed clan, so Jian Wushuang did not see them when he went to the Clearwater Villa. Now that he was going back to the Endless Territory, Zhou Yunfeng came back with some of his closest descendants, which was why there were dozens of them. Father, we are about to arrive at the Burning Moon City, Jian Wushuang said. Yes. Zhou Yunfeng clenched his hands, feeling extremely excited. Not only him but also Luo Xinqin, Zhua Bing, and Zhua Peng. They were all born in the Endless Territory, so they had a high sense of belonging to the Witch Desert region, especially Zhou Yunfeng, who was the governor of the Burning Moon City. As for the other descendants of the Zhua family, including Zhua Peng's wife, Princess Ying, they were more curious about the Endless Territory and the Burning Moon City. Soon, they finally arrived above the Burning Moon City. Looking down at the city, Jian Wushuang's soul power saw every corner of the city, and he sighed in his heart. In this life, he had fought in the Burning Moon City. He also knew that before he was born, the Burning Moon City had snowed for 9 years, 9 months, and 9 days. His mother had been pregnant with him for 9 years, 9 months, and 9 days. After he was born, the snowing in the Burning Moon City immediately stopped, and the Blood Mountain sword fell from the sky, causing a commotion. All of this made Jian Wushuang sigh. He only sighed slightly, but Zhou Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin were already very excited. It's the Burning Moon City. I've seen the governor's mansion. Although it's very different from before, the willow tree in the mansion is still there. It's been more than 100,000 years, but this willow tree is still alive. Zhou Yunfeng's body trembled. He ignored Jian Wushuang and the others and dived down toward the governor's mansion. Look at how anxious you are. You don't know how to control yourself in front of me. Father, wait a minute. Luo Xinqin and Zhua Bing spoke, and they immediately flew down. Jian Wushuang and the others naturally followed. The mansion of the governor of Burning Moon City was still there, But the governor of Burning Moon City had changed several times. The current governor was a cultivator who had reached the Divine Demon Realm. The Divine Demon Realm was an expert in the Witch Desert region. However, when Jian Wushuang and the others arrived at the mansion, any one of them released a bit of divine power, which scared the governor to kneel down and worship, not to mention the weaker cultivators in the mansion. After an hour, the mansion finally calmed down. At this moment, Zhuo Yunfeng had reopened the mansion of the governor of Burning Moon City. As for the original governor, Zhuo Yunfeng gave him some treasures. The assistants were so grateful that they left with the treasures in excitement. Zhuo Yunfeng was an immortal saint and had stayed in the Nine-Tailed clan for so many years. With his special status, he naturally received a lot of resources. Therefore, he casually took out some treasures. For a Divine Demon Realm expert, it was a gift from God. The Divine Demon Realm governor was overjoyed. As for the position of governor, he did not care. After 100,000 years, the Burning Moon City has changed a lot. Zhuo Yunfeng stood under the ancient willow tree in the governor's mansion and stroked the willow tree. He sighed quietly. 100,000 years is a long time for an ordinary wasteland in the saint realm of the endless territories. In the past 100,000 years, not only has the Burning Moon City changed a lot, but the entire Witch Desert region has changed a lot. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. He released his soul power immediately after he arrived at the Pill Sun Sacred World. It should be known that the space in the endless region was far less stable than the third firmament. The range of his soul power could be even wider. With a thought, he could see the entire Pill Sun Sacred World. He was naturally aware of the changes in the Pill Sun Sacred World. Not to mention the changes in the Witch Desert region, even the entire Pill Sun Sacred World was very different from before. However, just like 100,000 years ago, the Pill Sun Sacred World was still under the control of Crimson Stone Fort. The person in charge of Crimson Stone Fort was still Saint Crimson Rock's daughter, Yin Suer. 100,000 years had passed. Yin Suer's strength had also increased a little. She was now a genuine first-rank true saint and was an absolute overlord in the 9 realms of Golden Crow. Jian Wushuang had some connections with Yin Suer, but he had only promised Crimson Stone Saint that he would help her take full control of the Crimson Stone Fort. They did not have any unnecessary friendship. So this time, Jian Wushuang did not intend to tell Yin Suer, let alone meet her. He was only here to bring his loved ones back, and to refine the secret realm of the Xuebei. Now that Zhuo Yunfeng and the others had returned to the Burning Moon City, Jian Wushuang casually arranged a simple magic array for the Castellan mansion of the Burning Moon City to ensure that nothing else would happen in the Burning Moon City. He told Zhuo Yunfeng and the others that he was going to the Xuebei secret realm. The Xuebei secret realm was in the Pill Sun Sacred World. Jian Wushuang had only learned about the existence of the Xuebei secret realm by chance. But later, he got many good opportunities in the Xuebei secret realm, especially the star map of the universe battlefield given by the Xuebei. It led him to the special time and space in the unknown region of Devil Smoke Valley. And he got a great opportunity in that special time and space. Therefore, Jian Wushuang was still grateful to Xuebei. The Boneyard was one of the recognized dangerous places in the Pill Sun Sacred World. But to Jian Wushuang now it was like flat land. Jian Wushuang easily arrived at the entrance of the Xuebei secret realm. Looking at the entrance in front of him, Jian Wushuang could not help but smile in his heart. He remembered that when he first came to the entrance of the secret realm of the Xuebei, he had brought a token. Without a token, he could not find the existence of the secret realm of the Xuebei. At that time, he thought that the secret realm of the Xuebei was very well hidden and its methods were very clever. But now, Jian Wushuang could see through the secret realm of the Xuebei with a glance. Ignoring the obstruction of the secret realm's array, Jian Wushuang directly entered the secret realm. He rampaged all the way and easily arrived at the core of the secret realm. At the same time, Jian Wushuang also saw the Spirit Valley Elder of the secret realm and the trace of consciousness left by Xuebei. Mr. Xuebei Elder Gu, how have you been? When Jian Wushuang appeared in front of Xuebei and Elder Gu, they were shocked, especially Elder Gu. He was the spirit of the secret realm, so he knew everything that happened in the Xuebei secret realm. But now, someone had come to the Xuebei secret realm and appeared in front of them. How could he not notice it? When Shuebei and Elder Gu saw who it was, they were even more shocked. You are the little guy from before? Shuebei looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. Yes, it's me. It's been more than 100,000 years. I didn't expect that your consciousness was still there, Mr. Shuebei. Jian Wushuang smiled. It's just consciousness. It doesn't matter whether it exists or not. As for you, even I can't see through you when I see you again after 100,000 years. Moreover, you were able to enter the secret realm quietly and appear in front of me. Your current strength should be extraordinary. I wonder what level you have reached, Shuebei asked. He was really curious about Jian Wushuang's current strength, because he could not see through Jian Wushuang at all. However, he was a principal's master of the Void 5 realm when he was alive, so he could not see through Jian Wushuang's strength. At the very least, Jian Wushuang's strength should not be lower than his at his peak. I just became a principal's master not long ago, so I am only a principal's master in terms of realm. However, my battle strength is slightly stronger than my realm, so I can barely match a ruler, Jian Wushuang said directly. He did not hide it. He had nothing to hide from a person who was already dead and only had a trace of consciousness left. Match a ruler? Shuebei stared at him. Elder Gu, who was standing beside him, was also shocked. If it were anyone else who said that his battle strength was comparable to a ruler's, they would definitely not believe it. However, it was Jian Wushuang who said it. 100,000 years ago, when Jian Wushuang came to the Shuebei secret realm, he revealed his incredible talent and the shocking secrets he contained. At that time, Shuebei knew that Jian Wushuang's background was extraordinary. Such a person, who had reached the level of a ruler in terms of battle strength at the level of a principal's master, was still somewhat convincing. However, they were still shocked. After all, he was a ruler. How many rulers were there in the entire divine beginning realm? Could be counted on one hand, right? I was just unwilling to die in obscurity, so I gave all the opportunities to you. I also wanted to use you to make my name known in the divine beginning realm again. I didn't expect that my actions back then would actually create a monster that could rival a ruler at the level of a principal's master. Shuebei sighed. He was also a little excited. He knew that Jian Wushuang must have put in a lot of effort to get to where he was today. As for the opportunity that he gave to Jian Wushuang, it might have helped him a little. However, it was impossible for Jian Wushuang to get to where he was today by relying on his opportunity. Even if it was not so, it was still worthy of Shuebei's excitement and pride. After all, Jian Wushuang had once obtained his good fortune and also received his favor. To put it bluntly, it was indeed a matter of pride for Jian Wushuang to have played a part in his growth. Heavenly Sword Marquis. Shuebei had just opened his mouth when he paused and said, "Is it okay for me to call you that?" Of course. Jian Wushuang smiled. In fact, Jian Wushuang's battle strength was already at the level of a ruler, and Shuebei was only a principal's master of the 5 void realms at his peak. In terms of strength, Shuebei would bow to Jian Wushuang. It would not be too much to bow to him. However, Shuebei had died a long time ago, and he owed Jian Wushuang a favor. Jian Wushuang could accept him calling him by his name. When I gave you the opportunity, I asked you to do something for me. How did it go? Shuebei asked. I've done what you asked. I gave your interspatial ring to the experts of the blood ancestor lineage of the Heaven Ancestor Taoist sect, and I helped you regain your position in the Heaven Ancestor Taoist sect. Although the blood clan is not the strongest among the sects in the Heaven Ancestor Taoist sect, at least other sects don't dare to provoke them, Jian Wushuang said. As for the leader of the blood clan, the blood ancestor, it's a pity that the blood ancestor has been wandering in the universe battlefield. Although I have been to the universe battlefield, I have never met him. Therefore, until now, I have never met him. Jian Wushuang had read about the blood ancestor when he was wandering in the universe battlefield. The blood ancestor was a powerful principal's master who had reached the pinnacle of the 6th realm. When Jian Wushuang went to the Heaven Ancestor Taoist sect, the blood ancestor was trapped somewhere in the universe battlefield. Jian Wushuang knew that the blood ancestor had been trapped in the Witch Desert region, one of the 3 battlefields. However, when he stepped into the universe battlefield, the blood ancestor had already escaped from the Witch Desert region. He had been wandering there all these years, but Jian Wushuang had never been to the Witch Desert region, Naturally, he did not have any contact with the blood ancestor. Although I don't have any contact with the blood ancestor, the leader of the Heaven Ancestor Taoist sect, the Heaven Ancestor, has a special relationship with me. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly in his heart. I'm already very grateful that you were able to complete my task and bring the news of my death and the things I left behind to the blood ancestor's bloodline. Not to mention that you helped the blood clan's bloodline regain its position. As for Brother Heaven Ancestor, it doesn't matter whether you've seen him or not. Shui Bei's voice was indifferent. By the way, you just said that you've also been adventuring in the universe battlefield. Have you been to the star map that I gave you previously, the special spacetime where the star map is located? Shui Bei suddenly asked. Yes, it's precisely because I've been to that special spacetime that my strength has improved by leaps and bounds. Of course, I've also stayed in that special spacetime for 97,000 years. Speaking of which, it's considered to be a narrow escape, Jian Wushuang said. What exactly is in that special spacetime? Shui Bei could not wait to ask. He had entered that special spacetime by chance. He had obtained some opportunities in that special spacetime, but he did not dare to go too deep. He only chose to leave halfway. He did not really come to the high platform where the 18 Ultimate Formation was located, so he naturally did not know the real secret of that spacetime. He had given the star map to Jian Wushuang in the hope that he would go to the special spacetime to explore. As expected, Jian Wushuang had been there and had come back alive. That special spacetime has a great origin. Jian Wushuang briefly recounted his experience in that special spacetime. Not only had he been trapped in that special spacetime for 97,000 years, but he had also seen Devil Cloud after he had broken through the 18 Ultimate Formation. However, although Jian Wushuang had mentioned that there was a universe overlord from the depths of the universe behind that special space, a supreme expert, he did not tell Shui Bei the name of that supreme expert, which was Supreme Devil Cloud. After all, he had promised Devil Cloud not to tell anyone about what had happened in that special space. Now, even though he had already died, all that was left was a trace of his consciousness. However, Jian Wushuang still only told Shui Bei some things that would not hurt him even if he knew about it. After learning from Jian Wushuang that the special spacetime was really hidden, Shui Bei could not help sighing. I guessed that the special spacetime was extraordinary. It must contain a great opportunity. Now it seems that it really is so. However, any opportunity is accompanied by danger. Heavenly Sword Marquis, you were indeed incredible to have been able to break through the 18 absolute formations, which even the rulers were helpless against. It is only right that you were able to obtain the opportunity within. As for me, I was lucky that I was smart enough to not continue. Otherwise, Shui Bei could not help but shake his head. When he first entered the special spacetime, he had been looking forward to the opportunities in the special spacetime. Fortunately, he felt an extremely terrifying sense of crisis in the special spacetime. It was precisely that sense of crisis that made him stop and finally choose to leave. If he had not stopped and continued to walk forward, walking into the trap on the high platform, he would have died long ago, and it would have been impossible for him to leave behind the star map that led to the special spacetime. Jian Wushuang would probably have nothing to do with the same special spacetime. Mr. Shui Bei, I have come to this secret realm for another matter besides giving you an answer, Jian Wushuang said seriously. Do you want to refine my Shui Bei secret realm? Shui Bei looked at Jian Wushuang. When Jian Wushuang left the Shui Bei secret realm after obtaining the opportunity, he had told Jian Wushuang that if he broke through to become a principal's master in the future, he could come back and refine the Shui Bei secret realm. This would save him a lot of effort. Now that Jian Wushuang had obviously just become a principal's master, the heaven and earth secret realm had not been opened yet. Yes, I want to refine this secret realm. Jian Wushuang nodded. I'm very curious, Shui Bei said in surprise. Your battle strength is now comparable to a ruler. With your strength, you can easily open a heaven and earth secret realm of your own. But it will take some time and energy. Or if you really want to save time and refine the heaven and earth secret realm with your strength, you can find a stronger and more magnificent heaven and earth secret realm to refine. Why are you still interested in my Shui Bei secret realm? Well, to tell you the truth, I already have a better choice of the heaven and earth secret realm, but it's very difficult to refine it. I need some experience, so I came here, Jian Wushuang said. You came to refine my Shui Bei secret realm just to accumulate experience? Shui Bei frowned slightly. Well, I hope you can help me, Mr. Shui Bei, Jian Wushuang said. Shui Bei pondered for a moment. Then he said, well, I'm already dead, so there's no use for me to keep this secret realm. I was going to give it to you, but you can use it however you want. If you want to refine it and then collapse, it's up to you. But Elder Gu, Mr. Shui Bei, don't worry. When I collapse the secret realm, I'll give it a chance to survive. At the same time, I'll give Elder Gu a batch of treasures so that it can recover in a short time, Jian Wushuang said. That's good. Shui Bei breathed a sigh of relief. Elder Gu, I don't have much experience in refining the secret realm. You're the spirit of the secret realm, so I hope you can guide me. Jian Wushuang glanced at Elder Gu. My friend, although my secret realm is a common one among the many heaven and earth secret realm, it is still a heaven and earth secret realm. You don't have any experience in refining the heaven and earth secret realm, so even if I guide you personally, I'm afraid it will take some time to completely refine this secret realm, said Elder Gu. Time is not a problem. Let's start without delay. Jian Wushuang smiled. Immediately, Jian Wushuang began to refine the Shui Bei secret realm under the guidance of the old man. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. During these 3 years, under the guidance of the old man, Jian Wushuang refined the Shui Bei secret realm step by step. Finally, he completely refined the Shui Bei secret realm into his own heaven and earth secret realm. It's done. Jian Wushuang stood up and looked around at the Shui Bei secret realm that was completely under his control. A smile appeared on his face. After refining the Shui Bei secret realm, everything in the Shui Bei secret realm was under his control. He could even completely absorb the Shui Bei secret realm into his body with just a thought. At the same time, Jian Wushuang also found that he had an additional power of will. However, in Jian Wushuang's eyes, this portion of the power of his will was pitifully weak. Too weak. Too weak. Previously, I casually comprehended a rule, and the power of my will was much stronger than the power of my will now. No wonder in the divine beginning realm, very few people choose to refine someone else's heaven and earth secret realm. After all, they did not open it themselves, so the power of their will is too little. Unless it's a vast secret realm like the ceiling formation, which has formed a complete cycle of the heavenly Tao, only then can I get a huge benefit, Jian Wushuang murmured. Now that the secret realm has been refined, I only need to familiarize myself with it for a few more days before it can collapse. Soon, Jian Wushuang began to familiarize himself with the structure of the heaven and earth secret realm. 10 days later, under Jian Wushuang's guidance, the Shui Bei secret realm began to collapse to the extreme. When the willpower that Jian Wushuang had obtained completely dissipated, Jian Wushuang finally stopped. At this moment, the Shui Bei secret realm was actually dead in name. However, the spirit of the Shui Bei secret realm, which was Elder Gu, was still barely alive. Jian Wushuang gave Elder Gu a batch of treasures and told him to restore the secret realm on his own. After bidding farewell to the Shui Bei and Elder Gu, Jian Wushuang went to the fourth heaven. He had already refined a heaven and earth secret realm and had some experience. Now, he could try to refine the seal formation. The temporal temple master had taken Jian Wushuang to the fourth heaven. Jian Wushuang knew where the only space passage to the fourth heaven was, and he had the battle strength of a master, so he could open the space passage. Soon, he reached the fourth heaven through the space passage again. In the fourth heaven, the heaven-cleaving alliance master and the temporal temple master were waiting for him. My young friend, how is it? The heaven-cleaving alliance master asked. I've refined a heaven and earth secret realm according to my master's request. I've accumulated some experience. Now I can start to refine the seal formation, Jian Wushuang said. Then go quickly. We can't wait any longer. The heaven-cleaving alliance master said with a smile. That's right. Xianxia has spent a lot of money to construct a complete heavenly Tao cycle with a special array formation. This is basically equivalent to a small-scale astral world. I'm very curious. If you can refine this small-scale astral world into your own heaven and earth secret realm, how many benefits will you get? Will you be able to obtain a portion of the willpower just like an ordinary principles masters? Said the temporal temple master. If you can refine this small astral world and obtain a portion of the power of the will, it will definitely be very powerful. The heaven-cleaving alliance master said. No matter what you get, you'll know when you try it. Jian Wushuang smiled and then walked directly toward the ceiling formation. When he came to the surroundings of the ceiling formation, Jian Wushuang's consciousness immediately merged into the formation and awakened Xian Yi's remnant soul. Master! Looking at Xian Yi, Jian Wushuang bowed respectfully. Have you refined a heaven and earth secret realm? Xian Yi looked at him. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. However, although I have refined a heaven and earth secret realm and gained some experience, this small astral world is nothing compared to an ordinary heaven and earth secret realm. I still don't know how to completely refine it. You don't have to worry about that. This small astral world has cost me a lot of effort. How can you completely refine it in one day? Xian Yi smiled. However, as long as you have some experience in refining it and I guide you from the side, you should be able to refine this small astral world. However, it won't take too short a time. Even a conservative estimate would take more than 1,000 years. More than 1,000 years is nothing, Jian Wushuang said. In that case, let's begin. Follow my instructions and take it step by step. Remember not to be impatient, or you may suffer the crazy counterattack of this small astral world at any time, Xian Yi warned. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded heavily. Immediately, Jian Wushuang followed Xian Yi's instructions and flew directly into the ceiling formation. Soon, he merged with the formation. With the naked eye, it seemed that he had become one with the formation. Inside the formation, Jian Wushuang sat cross-legged and began to refine the small astral world according to Xian Yi's instructions. Time passed quietly. Just as Xian Yi had said, the small astral world was so amazing that refining it was not a matter of a day. Even with Xian Yi's guidance, Jian Wushuang still had to concentrate on the refining process. He must not be distracted at all because a casual distraction would cause all his previous efforts to be wasted. He would also be immediately attacked by the small astral world. Once the small astral world attacked, even if he could withstand it, it would not be easy. Moreover, it would bring him a lot of trouble for the subsequent refinement. While Jian Wushuang was refining the small astral world, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance Master and the Space-Time Temple Master had been guarding the fourth heaven to avoid unnecessary trouble. In the blink of an eye, 1,800 years had passed. Inside the seal formation, there's only one step left. Be careful, Xian Yi warned. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded heavily. His soul had already covered the deepest part of the seal formation with a ball of transparent white light. The white light looked pure and flawless. There was nothing special about it. However, under Xian Yi's guidance, Jian Wushuang knew that the white light was the most important thing in this small astral world. It was the will of the heavenly Tao of this small astral world. Although the will of the heavenly Tao had just been formed and was still in its infancy stage. Although the will of the heavenly Tao was far less tough than the will of the heavenly Tao of the divine beginning realm. After all, the will of the heavenly Tao formed a complete cycle of the heavenly Tao. The reason why Jian Wushuang was careful and did not dare to make any mistakes during the refinement process was that he was worried that the will of the heavenly Tao, which was still in its infancy stage, would be alerted and he would not be able to proceed with the next step. But now, he had completed all the previous steps. He was only one step away from making the will of the heavenly Tao submit. It's starting. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. His soul power had already made contact with the white light. He had also sensed the existence of the will of the heavenly Tao at the first moment. However, when he was ready to use his enormous soul power to force the will of the heavenly Tao to submit, he was shocked to find that the white light, the will of the heavenly Tao, it did not seem to have any intention of resisting him. Instead, it was very docile, as if it was willing to listen to him. How could this be? Jian Wushuang was surprised. Xian Yi, who was beside him, smiled and said, "It seems that the will of heavenly Tao has been somewhat affected by me." "Master, what's going on?" Jian Wushuang asked. It's simple. I created the seal array myself. Can be said that I created the will of the heavenly Tao. When I created it, I added some of my will. That is to say, the will of the heavenly Tao that you are now in contact with contains some of my will. As your master, of course, I am close to you. This little guy may be influenced by some of my will, which is why he is so docile to you, Xianxia said. Is that so? Jian Wushuang understood, but then he smiled and said, since this little guy doesn't intend to resist, this last step is the easiest for me. Jian Wushuang smiled. He made contact with the will of heavenly Tao in the white light and communicated with it. The will of heavenly Tao did not resist from the beginning until the end. Soon, Jian Wushuang took control of the will of heaven and earth. From then on, the seal formation, the small astral world, was finally refined by Jian Wushuang. I finally succeeded after 1,800 years. Jian Wushuang's eyes were filled with surprise and joy. At this moment, he could already sense the connection between himself and the seal formation, and he could also completely sense the existence of the seal formation. And at this moment, boom! A violent boom echoed in the sky. The entire divine beginning realm was shaken. Outside the seal formation in the fourth heaven, Heaven-cleaving Alliance Master and Temporal Temple Master were waiting quietly. It has been 1,800 years. I wonder if Heavenly Sword Marquis has refined the seal formation. Heaven-cleaving Alliance Master said. We have been guarding this place for 1,800 years, but there hasn't been any movement in the seal formation. It seems that Heavenly Sword Marquis Wushuang hasn't refined the seal formation yet, Temporal Temple Master said. They all knew that. The huge sealing formation had already formed a complete cycle of heavenly Tao. If Jian Wushuang really refined this sealing formation, it would be impossible for there to be no movement at all. Since there was still no movement, it naturally meant that Jian Wushuang had not completely refined this sealing formation. Such a huge sealing formation and a complete cycle of heavenly Tao is equivalent to a small astral world. It's indeed not easy to refine it into your own secret realm, Heaven-cleaving Alliance Master said. However, he had just finished speaking. Boom! The world rumbled and the entire fourth heaven trembled. The leader of the Heaven-cleaving Alliance and the Temporal Temple Master were immediately alarmed. In the next moment, both of them raised their heads at the same time. They saw that above the endless void, the sky seemed to have been forcefully pierced through. A huge, boundless dark hole appeared out of thin air. That dark hole was too big. It completely covered the entire sky, and at the same time it also covered the entire fourth heaven. And then, from that dark hole, a dazzling multicolored light lit up, and a supreme principle slowly descended. This principle was too transcendent, supreme. Most importantly, this descending principle seemed to be able to completely represent everything in the world. Its descent instantly caused the heavenly Tao cycle of the entire divine beginning realm to stop. Could this be the universal principles? Heaven-cleaving Alliance Master and Temporal Temple Master sensed the principles that descended from the dark void above, and both of them revealed expressions of disbelief. The universal principles, the vast universe, the heavenly Tao cycle, the most supreme principles. These principles represented the operation of the universe, and represented everything in the universe. For example, the divine beginning realm was just an astral world that was born from the vast universe. This astral world was like a living being, and it also had its own heavenly Tao will. However, this heavenly Tao will had to operate according to the universal principles. It was set by the universal principles, and the heavenly Tao wills of countless astral worlds in the universe had to operate according to them. Therefore, the universal principles were supreme. But now, what the Heaven-cleaving Alliance Master and the Temporal Temple Master did not expect was that the universal principles would come in person. It's Heavenly Sword Marquis. It must be him who attracted the universal principles, the Heaven-cleaving Alliance Master said with a trembling voice. Yes, this dark hole is above the fourth heaven, and the universal principles is obviously coming to the fourth heaven. In the fourth heaven, the only one who can attract the universal principles must be the Heavenly Marquis. The Temporal Temple Master also widened his eyes. He stared at the descending universal principles. Sure enough, after the universal principles descended, it went directly to where Jian Wushuang was, which was the huge ceiling formation in front of them. The universal principles finally landed on the ceiling formation, and it entered the ceiling formation at once, enveloping Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang still had his eyes closed. At this moment, he had completely refined the seal formation. However, after refining it, it caused a commotion that he had never expected, especially the arrival of the universal principles. The moment the universal principles landed on him, Jian Wushuang felt his body shake, and then he could not move. Although he could not move, he could feel the existence of the universal principles around him, and at the same time he felt a warm feeling. What is this? Jian Wushuang was surprised. Xianxia, who was standing next to him, also had an unprecedented glint in his eyes. The universal principles. It really is the universal principles. Haha. God bless our divine beginning realm. Xianxia laughed loudly. I've heard that in the vast universe, if a cultivator achieves some incredible achievements, he will be recognized by the universal principles. At the same time, the universal principles will come and give great benefits to the cultivator. I thought it was just a legend, but I didn't expect it to be true. Moreover, after refining the seal formation, you will be recognized by the universal principles. This is definitely a great luck and an unprecedented opportunity. Hearing Xianxi's laughter, Jian Wushuang did not understand, but he knew that the arrival of the universal principles was definitely a good thing for him. Little guy, the arrival of the universal principles is definitely a great fortune for you. Don't sit around and carefully feel the universal principles. It will be very beneficial for your cultivation in the future, Xianxia said. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded heavily and then concentrated on comprehending. The arrival of universal principles, although it was only in the fourth heaven, was still incredible. In the core of the divine beginning realm, countless cultivators in the third heaven could feel the existence of a supreme principles. At this moment, countless cultivators, they could not help but want to worship it. The entire third heaven fell into silence because of the arrival of this universal principles. In the grand palace of the three great saint realms lair, the three rulers from Devil Cloudstar had never looked so solemn before. What is this feeling? The tall man frowned. This supreme principle's aura. Even us rulers can't help but want to kneel down. It's as if he's a ruler in the dark. Could this be? The white-haired elder guest, his pupils constricted. At this moment, Life and Death Saint Master, one of the three great Saint Realm Masters, rushed in and said respectfully, My lords, Master told us that just now, the universal principles personally descended. Universal principles? The tall man and the bewitching young man were shocked. Indeed, the white-haired elder inhaled a breath of cold air. The supreme universal principles, the operation of the universe, and all the laws are set by the universal principles. The countless astral worlds in the vast universe are also affected and restricted by the universal principles. Such a supreme existence, even a supreme expert would not be able to spy on it. But today it actually descended in the divine beginning realm? What is the reason? The white-haired elder said in a low voice. My lord, Master has already said that the universal principles descend on the fourth heaven, and that sword Heavenly Marquis is currently at the fourth heaven. The Life and Death Saint Master suddenly said.